We welcome you live to North Wilkesboro Speedway, and the fun and excitement begins here in the stands with the fans. And folks, there are some 50,000 on hand today. Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry Punch, and what a crowd, folks. I mean, these are the most dedicated fans in all of sports. Stock car racing fans. Let me see here. Where are you from?
West Palm Beach.
Who's your favorite?
Rusty Wallace.
Rusty Wallace. Now, you the guy with you. He's got a Dale Earnhardt cap on. How about it? Who's your favorite?
Martin.
All right, Mark Martin, Rusty Wallace, Earnhardt. Who are these guys behind? Earnhardt. Hey, I think there's some Earnhardt fans here, folks. 50,000 strong in the stands here to watch what is maybe one of the best short track races in all the nation. Now, a lot of things have happened at this racetrack over the years. These folks are trying to find their way into their seats, and a lot of improvements here. As you see behind me, they have built larger and larger grandstands topped with huge luxury suites, and that's why today they're expecting a record crowd over 50,000. Well, the racetrack itself hasn't changed much. Still comes downhill out of turn 4 into turn 1, a 12-foot elevation difference. But the biggest change today is not on this side of pit wall, it's on the other side of pit wall. Let me give you a clue as we head over toward driver introductions. You will no longer hear the phrase, they make the hard left-hand turn out of turn 4 to enter pit road. And there's a reason for that. Right, John Kernan?
Jerry, you're exactly right. I'm standing over here at the new entrance to pit road right across from turn number 3. That means the new pits run all the way from turn 3 around 4 all the way down to turn number 1, and that distance, Benny Parsons, is going to make it very interesting.
Very interesting, John, and I applaud the racetrack for making one pit road even at a 5/8 mile speedway. But you know, it's pit road being interesting today. That's not a switch, because today is going to be very interesting. The cars, I did a survey in there, and all 36 drivers, they don't have a clue, Ned, what's going to happen after about 30 laps.
Well, that is going to be interesting. Something else that's interesting, when we go to the short tracks, and particularly here at North Wilkesboro, qualifying is so close you won't believe it. We'll cover that story today and more. Here's Bob Jenkins.
Thank you very much, guys, and hi and welcome to North Wilkesboro and the First Union 400 NASCAR Winston Cup race. Yes, qualifying, as usual, very important, but some things, it seems, remains the same in 1995. That is the pole sitter. Jeff Gordon has done it again. He has won the pole for the 4th time in 7 races in 1995. His season is phenomenal. So far, 3 wins at Rockingham, Atlanta, and Bristol. He has led more than 1,000 laps of a total of 2,213. His average start second, and his average finish 15.5. Jeff Gordon won his first short track race in his career last week at Bristol. He's looking for number 2 here this afternoon. Now, after 6 events in the season, the NASCAR Winston Cup quest for the Cup standings show us that Dale Earnhardt has only a 17-point lead on Sterling Marlin. The top 5 are separated by 159 points, but 3 through 5 separated by just 6 markers. In the second 5, it's led by Derek Cope, and the second 5 are separated by 44 points. 8 through 10, however, separated by just 7. So at this time during the season, the points can really change. Let's go back down to Dr. Jerry Punch.
Well, driver introductions continuing here at Wilkesboro Speedway. They're giving some special awards out behind me, but the drivers in today's field, some 36 strong, sitting here waiting patiently for driver introductions. Dale Earnhardt, Teresa behind me, and of course, Morgan Shepherd and his wife. Dale's son on the back of my uniform. And by the way, the guy to my left here, you're right, that's Barney Fife. He's going to sub for whoever gets tired early on. He's got his bullet in case he can't get in a race car as early as he would like to. We are 26 minutes away from the start of the First Union 400. We'll be back with more pre-race festivities, including a chat possibly with Earnhardt in just a moment. Stay with us.
ESPN's Speedweek coverage of the First Union 400 brought to you by Allied Signals brand builders. You can pay a little now or a lot later. By the more than 1,000 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. By Chevrolet, one car company has won more races in the history of NASCAR, genuine Chevrolet. And by NASCAR 94 Year in Review. To order, call 871 NASCAR. It's a beautiful day here in North Wilkesboro. Temperature expected to reach near 85 degrees. Let's check in with the PA and Winston Kelly, see where they are on driver intros right now.
They wanted me to refund you $1 for that barbecue you got over the store. We called you this morning. Starting 22nd from Franklin, Tennessee, the Western Auto Chevrolet number 17 is Darrell Waltrip.
The winningest driver at North Wilkesboro actively, Darrell Waltrip, being introduced right now. And our countdown clock around 23 or so minutes until the green flag. Now, we talked about the changes on pit road. Let's delve into that a little more closely as we go to John Kernan, who's at pit entrance. John?
You know, Bob, pit entrance used to be over there at the exit of turn number 4, but now that they've extended pit road all the way around, the drivers have to actually slow down halfway down the back straight, then make their entrance onto pit road as you enter turn number 3. Now, the reason for this, the expanded field, you recall last year, a couple teams had to double up in the pit stalls. That made for quite a mess, as you can imagine, with deciding when you could come in pit. So what they've done, instead of making 2 pit roads, they have extended pit lane all the way back here. They have added in 3940 pits. Now, not only have they extended pit road, but they've also extended the distance, the length of the pit stalls. They're a good 2 to 3 feet longer than they were. What that means is the drivers will have an easier time getting into their pit stalls and then not getting blocked in so they can exit cleanly. Now, the thing that's causing the big concern, or maybe not concern, that may not be the right word, what could make it interesting today, by the time that you enter there, it's going to take you almost half a minute to go all the way around pit road to the exit where Dr. Jerry Punch is standing by.
In fact, John, the teams have timed it. It is 27 seconds at the pit road approved speed of 35 miles per hour to come from where you are all the way down to the preferred pitting spot, which is the very first pit in the pits in turn 1, and that's where the Winston Cup champion pits. And Richard Childress, the new pit entrance up there, does that help your calls or does it hurt you?
Well, you know, used to it would be an advantage to be on this far end, but today it may not be with the pit road speeds. I think with the length of pit road here, it's going to be tough not to go 2 laps down today.
Now, being down in turn 1 as a champion and gets to pick first, what advantage normally is it pitting down here?
Well, the biggest thing, you got a clear shot out of the pits. You know, today we feel sometime the preferred pit may even be back a little further, but we just always pitted on the end, and you know, it's not like it was when you could come down pit road as fast as you want to and leave out.
The champion pits in the first spot, but the pole sitter pitted about halfway up pit road. We'll tell you more about that later. Another veteran crew chief, Barry Dodson. And Barry, your thoughts are that this, what happens today on pit road could bring us a surprise winner. Why?
Well, it could, Jerry. You know, like you say, it takes 27, 28 seconds to come down pit road. Everybody clocked that yesterday. It's taking the pace car 54 seconds to get around. If you're in a case like Richard in the 3 car, when they pit, they're normally right on the pace car, so they can come in right with him. They'll have plenty of time. If you're way back, you got to think about your thinking. You don't want to get trapped in here. And if you got a guy that sees where he can't win the race with his race car not being perfect that day, with his pit crew maybe not being perfect, you might see a guy sit out here and ride right now a little bit longer on his tires because he's got plenty of gas, hoping to catch a caution, because it looks like in here today under green, you're going to lose 3 laps, not 2. And it could play a part.
And this guy has done it in the past with fuel mileage, being able to win these races. If you come in under green, you're going to lose 3 laps if the caution falls. Barry Dodson could be right. We could see a surprise winner here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Well, guys, what about the new pit road? Let's get comments from Benny Parsons and Ned Jarrett.
Folks, why are we talking about pit road so much? Because there's going to be a lot of activity on pit road today. I think the cars will be pitted probably every 50, 60 laps, putting on 4 new tires, because at that point, after 50 laps, they're going to be slipping and sliding so bad, they've got to stop. So pit road does become a huge story, Ned.
Well, it does. There's no question about it, and especially if they have to pit during green flag runs. It'll be a story even if they pit under caution, which most of them will hope to do. But, you know, this long pit road we have now here at North Wilkesboro has taken away one of the gripes that we've heard in the past, and that is, man, I didn't qualify good enough to pit on the front stretch. I'm having to pit on the back stretch. Well, they don't have that excuse today. There might be a way around over in turn 3 where John Kernan was, but at least it's an equal playing field. Everybody can come into the pits at their designated time, depending on where they are in the field. But we know that pit road is always very exciting, but sometimes it don't work out quite the way that you'd like for it to.
It's referred to as poetry in motion, a chaotic ballet. In any case, it can literally win or lose the race. 7 men are permitted over the wall. Each has his job to do, and no one job is any more or less important than the other. It is these pit stops that have made racing a team sport. While time and effort is spent each year on making the car run faster, by the same token, pit crews spend endless hours practicing their work. Sometimes things don't go smoothly. A jack might break, dropping the car to the pavement. Precious seconds are lost. One of the crew members can lose his footing scrambling from one side of the car to another, again costing a few seconds. When things go right, it is a fascinating choreographed dance, which can mean precious track position, sending a driver on his way to the checkered flag.
What you're looking at is part of the 1,829 tires that Goodyear has brought here to the Wilkesboro Speedway to run this 400-lap, 250-mile race. And I'm with Wayne Torrance. And Wayne, the big concern in practice is that the wear indicators, the wear pins are showing after about 40 laps, and that's got some concern. But is that a concern for Goodyear?
No, not really, Jerry, because at places we have to run a shallow tread tire. And for that reason, our wear pins are only about 2 3/4 to 3 30-seconds deep. We don't run a shallow tread here, so we have better than a 30-second of rubber after the wear pins have gone. They need to be more concerned about really times, I think, than what the wear pins show.
So the wear pins are showing at 2.5 30 seconds, meaning there's still plenty of tread on the tire, so they don't have to worry about coming in too early. Maybe in the 40-lap range, they can push it maybe up to 60.
I would certainly think so.
Okay, Wayne, thanks for joining us.
Good.
Well, if you folks have your calculators at home, it's a 400-lap race as we're about 15 laps away. You figured 400 laps, they run 60 laps per tire change. A set of tires is $1,300. You figure it out. Bob Jenkins right now is working in the booth trying to think. That's the 1,300 times 60 laps times how many sets. Folks, we're talking about 10 grand per car owner today. Back with more from North Wilkesboro after this. Stay with us. And they have just concluded driver introductions as they introduce the pole sitter for the 4th time in 1995. Jeff Gordon, he will climb down off the podium and head down toward us. And I'm standing at the front row with his crew chief, Ray Evernham. And Ray, we talked about you guys dodging one bullet last week when you came to victory lane with the cord showing in the right rear. But what the fans didn't see was what happened later. During the race, 70 laps to go, I commented that he said, the driver said, hey, we got a miss, we got a skip in the engine, but you didn't know how serious it was until you tore it down. How bad was it?
It was pretty bad. If that had been a 501-lap race, we might not have made it. In post-race NASCAR inspection, when they tear the engine apart, we found out that a screw came out of the base plate on the carburetor and went through the whole motor, and that was his mess. It ruined all the pistons, bent all the valves. It was in pretty bad shape.
So a screw was dancing around from piston to piston through the intake, just banging the motor apart, and you guys still somehow made it to victory lane.
Well, we were just, it was our day. You know, Darlington, we thought it was our day, and it wasn't. In Bristol, we didn't think it was, and it was.
Guys, can you believe it? The old saying is it's better to be lucky than good. How about when you're both good and lucky? That's what's been going on here with Ray Evernham and Jeff Gordon.
Well, Jerry, they certainly have had a lot of good things going their way, and that was one of them. And Vinny, when it's your day, I guess it's your day, because that thing could have lodged in there somewhere, and it would have been a whole lot worse than it was.
Very fortunate that the screw they're talking about is a very, very tiny screw. You know, the amazing thing is there's two that holds that butterfly on that the other one didn't break, and the carburetor would quit working. That's really, and you know what would have happened, or what did happen, is that little screw got on top of the pistons and beat those pistons up and bent the valves. And when the valves are bent, you don't get the compression that you normally would. So Jeff Gordon was very, very fortunate. John, who feels the luckiest down in the pits today?
I feel the luckiest, Benny, because of how interesting it's going to be. But I tell you, this team right here, Bobby Hamilton and the STP Pontiac owned by Richard Petty, I don't know if you could call it luck or just being really good. Career best last week, 4th at Bristol, Bobby. Last 4 starts, 3 top 10s, gone from 27th to 12th in the points. What's the difference?
It's really a lot of luck, John, but I tell you what, these guys have worked super hard and put me together a bunch of good, comfortable race cars. You know, when we unload these cars off the truck, our first lap on the racetrack is usually within a tenth of what we qualify. And it makes a driver feel real good to know you can have that much confidence in your race team and your race car to go out and run fast right off the bat like that. It's deserving for the team, STP. It's deserving for Bobby Hamilton. This place is a lot like Nashville. We're looking for a good day.
Now, you start 4th today. What's the strategy as far as tire wear? Can you go 50, 60 laps?
I went 67 laps on a set yesterday and still had markers in them. And we were pretty happy with that because we, you know, how everybody sort of snoops around. We didn't see that a lot, but we tested good here and we worked on long runs. I'm a little concerned about the start of the race, that the STP Pontiac might drop a little bit because of the tightness, but you have to start 10 or 15 degrees tight here to come around to be neutral after 25 or 30 laps.
Well, good luck today. Starting 4th, Bobby Hamilton. Let's move directly ahead of him. Starting in the 2nd spot, Brett Bodine. This year with Junior Johnson, Brett first year. Man, I tell you, you haven't had much good luck this year. No top 10s, but you're starting on the front row here, Junior's home track, a place where you've won.
Well, you know, that really helped the whole team confidence rolling in here on Friday. And, you know, hopefully we can come up with a good run here today. You know, having this be home of Junior Johnson and, of course, Lowe's, our sponsor. A lot of pressure, but, you know, we feel like we got a good car, and we'll see what happens.
Well, Brett Bodine, I remember him winning that very first race, Bob, because it was my very first race right here on ESPN. It was April 22nd, 1990.
I remember it well, too. You know, 36 cars are going to take the green flag in today's First Union 400, but 45 showed up. That means that 9 drivers and teams had to go home. There they are. Jeremy Mayfield, Kenny Wallace, Steve Kinzer, Billy Standridge, Jay Hedgecock, Chuck Bound, Randy McDonald, Jeff Purvis, Davy Jones. All of those drivers had to go home. Last week, Quaker State released a statement saying they are standing by Steve Kinzer in the Quaker State car. However, it's the second race in a row, Ned and Benny, that he did not make the race.
I tell you what, Ned, this really is a tough situation. I talked to Richard Broom, though, at the beginning of the week, and he said, we've had other drivers in our car this year. Rick Mast, he mentioned, and 3 or 4 other drivers. He said all the drivers are reporting, though, the same thing that Steve Kinzer's saying. The car is loose getting in the corner. They practiced this week. I don't know what the results. You know anything about the results?
Well, I haven't heard the results, but they did hire Hut Strickland as a consultant to the team to help set the car up to find out what might be wrong with someone who has experience with one of these cars. It has to be a humiliating situation for Steve Kinzer after having won so much over the years. We know that he has talent. He's a winning race driver, no question about it, but it's in a different environment, and if everything is not just right, I mean, it's tough for the veterans, those who've been here for a long time, to make the field. Take a look at some of those who have provisionals here today, for example, that didn't qualify for this race, and then so it's not a crime, certainly, that he's not making some of these fields, but I know it's tough on him, Bob.
It sure is, but we have, as I say, 36 cars and drivers lined up, and we're about 9 minutes away from the green flag in the start of the First Union 400. We'll be right back. ESPN Speed World today at North Wilkesboro, North Carolina Speedway, and the First Union 400. They have increased the seating capacity here once again, seating about 50,000 people now. Let's take a look at the race analysis. We'll go 400 laps. The pole speed of Jeff Gordon, 118.765. The race record is 107.360. They should be able to go 55 to 60 laps before a pit stop. That would be because they need tires. And they're going for a purse of over $800,000 this afternoon. The track description? Well, it's a .625 mile oval, 670 feet on both the front stretch and the back stretch. The corners are banked at 14 degrees and the straightaway at about 3 degrees. We have been coming here for many, many years and watched the growth of this facility north of Charlotte, North Carolina, and we're looking forward to a great race here this afternoon. 400 laps coming up, back down to Dr. Punch.
And you're looking at the Goodrich Chevrolet, which will start 5th today with the defending 7-time and current point leader of the Winston Cup Series, and Dale, a tough one last week at Bristol.
Yeah, it was. It was really something that we usually don't get involved with, but we got in a wreck and ended up 25th where we started 25th. So it wasn't a bad day after all. We didn't lose total day, but we still got further behind in the points. But you know, we qualified good here at Wilkesboro and running good. And Hornaday did a great job last night in the truck for Teresa, so we're happy about that. So maybe we have a great day today.
When this guy qualifies this well, you got to believe it's going to be an Earnhardt day. He starts 5th right behind the guy John Kernan is standing with.
I'm with Derek Cope, just getting strapped in, putting on the gloves. He starts 3rd today. Derek, 6th in the points this year, having a phenomenal season so far. Derek, what about today's race?
Well, you know, we're pretty excited about the way the straight arrow Ford's running, and Jimmy and the guys have put together a good combination, and we're just going to see if we can't stick on these front guys here and see how long we last on tires.
Well, Derek Cope is very optimistic heading into today's First Union 400, Bob.
All right, Jerry. Benny, we're going to take a look at the closeness of the field, but first, let's back up to last weekend.
I got to apologize to this guy. Derek Cope, last week, I said he hit the 3 car.
Shame on you.
I did. Folks, it wasn't Derek Cope. I apologize. I've apologized to Derek and all the team, and I apologize to all his fans.
Okay, now let's take a look at the closeness of the field as they begin to strap in.
and it was very close. From first to last, 0.351 seconds, just over 1/3 of a second in 32 cars.
And Benny, there were 3 pairs of drivers that had exactly the same time. One driver had the same time as another. It happened 3 times in the field.
There we are. Rick Maston, Jeff Burton, Steve Grissom, Bill Elliott, Ken Schrader, and Ward Burton. And then 3 drivers, Michael Waltrip, Kyle Petty, and Todd Bodine, ran exactly the same time.
You wonder how they can time them that close, but they have an electronic system that'll time them down to the thousandths of a second.
It sure isn't my calculator or my brain that does that. I want you guys to know that. The crowd is ready. We are ready, and in just a moment, we will introduce to you the 36 drivers that will be competing here this afternoon. In the meantime, we'll take a break from North Wilkesboro, North Carolina.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
The Grand Marshal of today's race, and the gentleman who proclaimed, "Gentlemen, start your engines," now taking a lap around the racetrack, and we are less than 5 minutes away from the green flag of this 7th race of the 1995 NASCAR Winston Cup season. Here is the starting lineup for today's race. On the pole, Jeff Gordon, car number 24, the DuPont Chevrolet 756, I should say. 3 wins, 4 poles this season. His average start, 2.0. On the outside of the front row will be Brett Bodine from Chemung, New York, in car number 11, running for Junior Johnson, whose shops are just down the road. Starting in 3rd position, inside of row number 2, will be Derek Cope, 118.353, and then Bobby Hamilton will start on the outside of the 2nd row.
Bobby Hamilton told me this morning he didn't want to qualify any better than 4th. He wanted to start where he ended last week and go to the front from there.
Okay, in the 4th row, we see Mark Martin and Joe Nemechek. Nemechek had a good qualifying run after having a spin out in his attempt.
Ted Musgrave and Morgan Shepherd will make up row number 5. In the 6th row, it'll be Rusty Wallace and Ricky Rudd.
And back there we find Jeff Burton in row 7 alongside Rick Maston, identical times.
And in row 8, it'll be Steve Grissom and Bill Elliott.
And Elliott's crew chief had some problems this morning. Jerry Punch will report on that a little later as we see Schrader and Ward Burton back in row 9.
Dick Trickle and Sterling Marlin compose the 19th and 20th starting positions, row number 10. In the 11th row, it'll be Ricky Craven alongside Darrell Waltrip, going for win number 11 here at this facility.
Well, he goes for numbers, so he's back in the 11th row. He must think that's an omen, Ned.
And his son Kyle Petty, Kyle Petty will start back there in row 12, not Darrell's son, of course not. And we see Todd Bodine back there along with Mike Wallace in row 13.
Jeff Bodine and Robert Presley back in row number 14. The 15th row will be Jimmy Spencer and Terry Labonte, the defending champion of this race. Randy LaJoie and Greg Sachs make up row number 16. And then we get back to the provisional starters.
And we talked about at the top of the show some of those that didn't make the field. There's Dale Jarrett, had to take a provisional. So did John Andretti. John Andretti normally qualifies well, but just couldn't quite get it hooked up here. And Bobby Labonte and the Joe Gibbs car, and Dave Marcus also with a provisional.
The engines are warming on pit road. We will be back for more pre-race and possibly the beginning of the First Union 400 after this.
We have not taken the green flag, and already problems for Dick Trickle's Quality Care Ford Thunderbird. The car would not fire on pit road. They thought it might be a battery cable. They have changed the cable, and it was not that. Now they're trying to change an ignition wiring harness inside the car, and the car is yet to fire as the field is now rolling out of turn 4 behind the Pontiac pace car. Bob?
There is a lap to go, a couple of laps to go, I guess, before the green flag comes out. Let's check in on the radio with Kyle Petty. BP?
Kyle Petty, this is Benny Parsons at ESPN. You got me?
Yes, sir. Get you loud and clear.
All right, what do you think's going to happen here today? Give us about 10 seconds.
Well, tell you what, it's a crapshoot the way pit road is, you know. You got to be up front close to the pace car when you pit to make good time and not get trapped. You're going to see 50, 60 lap dashes on tires. Somebody that's got a car that knows they can't win a race, they're going to stay out and gamble for a caution. they could easily have a lap or 2 laps on the field. Big crapshoot.
All right, folks, there you saw Barry Dodson talking to the radio network here at the Speedway.
Ted Musgrave will also carry one of our in-car cameras.
Ted Musgrave, this is Benny Parsons of ESPN. You read me?
Yeah, Benny, lead your room. Clear, man. Hey, what's for supper tonight?
I don't know. Let's see how hard you make us work.
Okay, maybe we rode good. You and I will go out to dinner somewhere, all right?
Sound like a deal. Good luck to you.
There's an offer that...
Ted, you got all your fans on, bud? Jack, we're all set.
Okay, Jerry, what's the update on Trickle?
Apparently there is no juice getting to the main kill switch, the on-off switch in the back of the car that NASCAR puts on all these cars for safety so you can kill all the power. There's an accident to get into the car without the risk of fire. There is no juice getting up to that main switch, so they have taken the left rear tire off and are going to open the battery compartment. They will miss the start of the First Union 400, Bob.
Indeed they do, because the field comes off corner number 4 and gets set for a start. Let's see if we get the green flag. And here we go. The green flag is out. First Union 400 underway.
Well, that has to be the most sickening feeling in the world, sitting on pit road with the green flag.
Looks like Brett Bodine has the slight advantage off the third corner at least. Let's see how they cross the line.
Brett Bodine did lead the first lap, and he has the lead down the backstretch.
And that is the first race lap that he has led in 1995. Jeff Gordon has never led a lap at North Wilkesboro.
And the 15 car of Dick Trickle is back on the racetrack. There he is, going in turn 3. Jerry Punch?
They took the cover off the battery and found out their worst nightmare. The battery cable was not attached to the battery. They just slapped it on the battery. The car fired up, but unfortunately, he missed the green.
Side-by-side racing back for about 7th position. Joe Nemechek to the inside and Bobby Hamill to the outside, but now Hamilton falls in single file ahead of Ted Musgrave, Rusty Wallace, and Rick Mast.
That was the 43, Bobby Hamilton. That was his concern, that he would drop back at the very beginning of the race, and it happened.
Now, for you Dick Trickle fans, he's being shown only 1 lap down, so it's not as disastrous as it could have been.
Watching from Ted Musgrave, now Sterling Marlin's in-car camera as Bill Elliott is right beside him and Ward Burton up ahead.
And we see that's the Sterling Marlin car going underneath Elliott. And Earnhardt trying to take over that 3rd spot, but Cope says,
To the inside in turn number 3 and takes the position, but battling back on the outside is Derek Cope, and Lake Speed is right there also, but now Earnhardt gets the 3rd position and sets his sights on this duo, Jeff Gordon and the leader of the race, Brett Bodine. Here are the Burt brothers, Ward inside, Jeff outside, into 3.
Chevrolet being driven by Ward and the Ford being driven by Jeff.
Sterling Marlin watching all it, and Jeff Gordon trying to take the lead away from Brett Bodine.
Brett gives him room. He's got the opening at the bottom of the racetrack, and let's see who leads this lap. Bodine by a half a car length.
But I think Gordon has the preferred line, Bob. Normally on these short tracks, that inside is the best place to be, and I expect he'll get him maybe going into turn 3, and he does.
So now Jeff Gordon has the lead.
Now, if he makes it back to the line, he will have led his first lap here at North Wilkesboro.
And 5 points. There it is. Bill Elliott now to the outside of Todd Bodine.
Bill Elliott needs to get to the inside, but there's no place to go on the inside. There's not a spot. Meanwhile, he's just riding along trying to find that spot. He battles with the Bodine brothers, Todd in the 75, Jeff in the number 7. There's Terry Labonte back at the very top of that screen, the Kellogg Chevrolet. He won this race last year, but qualified about the 30th spot.
And Jeff Bodine, car 7, won the race last fall here at this track and beat everybody by a lap or more.
And he rubbed Bill Elliott just a little bit going into turn 1 that time and was able to get on the inside of it and make the pass.
And we see that Earnhardt is closed up on the back of Brett Bodine, goes right up on the back bumper.
See if he makes a bid for the position into turn 1. He's looking outside. I don't think so.
He might want to make Brett Bodine think he's looking outside.
Yeah.
Looks like those cars are running 30 miles an hour on that shot. Trust me when I tell you, folks, that they're running much, much faster than that.
Here's Steve Grissom and Ken Schrader. That's for 13th and 14th.
Morgan Shepherd leading that duel. Morgan is in 15th spot, is being shown in 15th, but 13th, I'm sorry.
There is Jeff Gordon. Not only is the first time that he has left at North Wilkesboro and he picked up the 5 points, but of course that continues his streak. He has now led every race so far this year. The battle is for second spot. Bodine and Earnhardt. And now here comes Bobby Labonte along with Dale Jarrett to the inside of Robert Presley.
And they're battling for 31st position back there.
Well, you can see that there are races all around the racetrack. 30th position is side by side. Oh, and contact between the 28 and the 37.
And there's damage to the front end of John Andretti's car. No caution, but Andretti has damage on the left front of his car. We continue to watch up front. Earnhardt still unable to take away that second position.
Okay, we'll take a look again. Dale Jarrett was on the outside of Robert Presley. And Presley, I don't know if he didn't know he was out there, and Jarrett had to back off, and John Andretti had a run coming off the turn. And when Jarrett got sideways, he bumped him.
Now we see Earnhardt going to the inside of Brett Bodine and picking up second position. And here is Ken Schrader passing the 29 of Steve Grissom.
And Grissom starting to get just a little bit loose as he exited turn 4. We're almost 20 laps into this race. We're going to be seeing more and more of that as the race wears on.
Then I think there was also damage. I know there's damage to the left rear of the 28 car, but I don't see any smoke, so apparently not rubbing on the tires.
There is some sheet metal damage there, but maybe no harm.
Grissom to the inside now of Morgan Shepherd.
Grissom in 29, the black and yellow car, the Meineke muffler. Morgan Shepherd, red and white 21, Sitco.
Looks like a little bit of contact between Ward Burton and Morgan Shepherd.
They definitely got together, but they continue on. No major problems there.
And Jeff Burton in the 8, the Rebestos car, trying to follow his brother. Well, actually trying to pass his brother. Craven, the 41 car, the green and white car, Michael Waltrip, the yellow 30, and we see Kyle Petty back there in the 42.
This is out the back of Sterling Marlin's car, looking back on Craven and Michael Waltrip. Now Waltrip moves up beside Craven in the first turn.
Michael there, he's got that 41.
John Kernan has a report on the Pennzoil number 30, driven by Michael Waltrip.
Bob, it'll be tough for Michael to relay what is going on with his car and the chassis setup as this race goes on with his crew. That's because he can only hear them on the radio. When he goes to punch his button to talk back to them, they cannot hear him. So they're having a radio problem. Probably have to work out hand signals so Michael can tell them whether the car is tight or loose.
We are hearing, however, conversation between Kyle Petty and his crew.
We're watching electronics as he accelerates down the straightaway up to 119 miles an hour. And very, very close up in turns 3 and 4.
There.
You heard his spotter tell Kyle that he was clear, meaning that he had completed the pass of Craven and he could get back in line.
$35 cars still in the lead lap. Only Dick Trickle is 1 lap down as a result of not being able to take the green flag.
Now Kyle to the inside of Michael Waltrip, picking up another position as Darrell Waltrip moves alongside his brother. And there again, you again hear that the spotter told Kyle he was clear of Michael. So we'll take a break and be back with more of our live coverage here at North Wilkesboro. 27 laps have been completed. It's Jeff Gordon leading Dale Earnhardt and Brett Bodine. Stay with us. The overhead shots coming from the Family Channel blimp high above North Wilkesboro, North Carolina Speedway, and the First Union 400 on its 95 tour, helping to spread the word about Family Channel's quality, value-based programming and original movies. Glad to have them with us again here in the Winston Cup circuit.
And that yellow thing that you see waving in the breeze is one of the cameras that the crews are
taping the pit stops with.
Taping their pit stops with, so they can go back and look at them and see what went wrong. And there we see Jeff Gordon. Nothing going wrong with that DuPont car.
Again. Here are the finishes that he has experienced this year. He is 4th in points and would be much higher were it not for those poor finishes compared with his wins. He was 22nd at Daytona, 36th at Richmond, 32nd at Darlington. The others, he's won.
I don't think we're going to point out the obvious.
Well, they just put a lap on the 34th place car, Randy LaJoy.
And Dr. Punch has a report from the pits as Kyle Petty goes to the inside of Rick Mast. Doc?
And as you watch that move by Bobby Hamilton sliding inside of the 1 car, we'll mention the tire concern during the pre-race that the tires may go 40 or 50 laps. What some of the drivers are being told is the cars are getting looser. We are told Earnhardt's car now getting a little bit looser, and so is Gordon, surprisingly. But we are being told that about 32 laps was halfway on a set of tires. So expect the leaders to come in around lap 62 to 65 for the first green flag stop for 4 tires. Bob?
All right, we see a flat Bob summary for you now. Ladies and gentlemen, if you hear a groan during the broadcast, it's because my right shoulder has been severely injured by Benny bopping me one when I miscalled the 43.
Once more, 43 is Hamilton. Bobby Hamilton. Got it? Ouch. Okay.
Stop that.
I got to be a referee here, too, huh?
Ned, help us out here.
What's going
Stand
on
between us.
Musgrave trying to take over for Ricky Rose. Ward Burton.
Ward Burton sliding down the backstretch. Didn't hit it.
Caution is out. Caution is out.
Boy, there'll be a lot of drivers glad to see this caution because Bill Elliott, Robert Presley, Morgan Shepherd were just about to go a lap down.
And I tell you what, how many cars? Every car but Dick Trickle and Randy LaJoy will probably pit. Here we see Ward Burton coming in, and we see some damage to the right front. So a little bit of touch on the right front has knocked the tire in. Watch as the 31 car comes off, and he touches Rick Mast. And look at the job Rick does. And that's the new entrance to pit road that Ward spins down through there. He just puts it in gear and drives on the pit road.
Looks like Sterling Marlin got a little bit of contact from Kyle Petty, too, during that incident. Now we see the pit stops being made. Here they come down pit road, the long pit road with Jeff Gordon leading them.
And I don't know about this. The pace car.
The pace car.
They passed the pace car down pit road. I mean, the pace car was on the racetrack. They went down pit road. John Kernan.
Mid Sterling Marlin spent the crew a 4-tire change. The car a little bit tight, so they'll take 2 rounds of bite out of the car. They're already working on the left side. There goes the chassis adjustment in that left rear. Let's go down to Jeff Gordon's pit. Jerry Parton, Sterling leads.
They have already put right side tires, left side going on. Here's Gordon going out, and he comes together almost with Morgan Shepherd and gets on the brakes, but Gordon and Shepherd do not have contact as Gordon manages to exit pit road, and as they all slam down the pits, I might mention Benny Parsons. You saw the lead cars pass the pace car a moment ago coming in the drivers' meeting. The driver said, look, if we come down pit road at 35 miles an hour, we're actually going to pass the pace car because pit road has a shorter radius. And NASCAR said, that's okay. If you pass it, as long as you're going 35 miles an hour, there will be no penalty.
Thank you very much, Dr. Punch.
That makes sense. It's a lot shorter around the racetrack down in there. Now, the near collision. Watch this.
21 is coming in, and Jeff Gordon is leading. And look at that, almost. And Earnhardt leaves. and takes over the lead from Jeff Gordon.
So that's the way they will line up. When we go back to green, there is Morgan Shepherd, who has completed the service on his car. We'll be right back. Welcome back to North Wilkesboro. We timed it just right. The green flag comes out on lap number 46, restarting our first Union 400 after a caution caused by Ward Burton's slide down the backstretch.
Mike Wallace in the 90 car, the Heilig Myers car, a lap down.
The leader is Dale Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon second. Bodine is third, and Rusty Wallace is on the move. He is up to fourth position already and right on the back bumper of Brett.
There we see his brother, Mike Wallace, on the inside as he closes up, as you said, right on the back bumper of the 11 car. Rusty started 11th, is now fourth. And Mark Martin, one of the cars that all the guys touted in the garage area, has been one of the best cars here this afternoon.
Martin's in car. He's trying to get around that lap car of Wallace.
He is in fifth place.
Bobby Labonte, Jimmy Spencer racing together.
Bobby Labonte just made the pass on Jimmy Spencer.
Now he closes up on the back bumper of his brother, Terry Labonte, in the 5 car.
Bill Elliott lost a lap in the pits during this round of pit stops as we watch the Labonte brothers race. Bobby Labonte has now moved up to 23rd position.
He broke his shoulder just about 3 weeks ago at the Darlington race, so
I can sympathize with that.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hit you so hard a while ago. But they feel like he will be okay to run the entire 400 laps here at North Wilkesboro today.
One of the provisional starters. He began the race back in 35th position, Bobby Labonte. Dale Earnhardt, by the way, has now led 22 races here at North Wilkesboro. This is his 33rd start, and he has won at this racetrack 4 times, this race 3 times, and he has won the fall race once.
Well, I talked about the 6 car running well. Yeah, they also mentioned the 3 and the 24 in the same breath as running very, very well, and that's pretty obvious.
Dr. Jerry Punch has an update on tire wear. Jerry?
Bob, the pre-race concerns about tire wear are reality now. Let me show you the right rear tire off Jeff Gordon's car here, and Gordon wasn't running that hard. The wear indicators here are worn away. Now, this tire begins today with 3.5 30 seconds of rubber. Take a look. In 42 laps, it has a 1.5 30 second of rubber left. And folks, that's not much. This tire is worn out in less than 45 laps. Let's go up pit road to John Kernan.
Well, Jerry, the news for Sterling Marlin is just the opposite over here as we look at his right rear tire. 3.25 30 seconds they've measured. Sterling getting very, very good tire wear, and that's what he told me this morning that they had concentrated on.
And that could be the story of the race before it's all over.
And they're talking about 3 30 seconds or 1.5 30 seconds. That's 3 30 seconds of an inch. 3 30 seconds of an inch. 2 30 seconds is 1/16th of an inch. And a 16th is like 60,000. So, I mean, these tires are very, very little tread on them.
And we might mention that the reason they do wear out so much here on this racetrack is because it's very abrasive. This track is very abrasive, like Darlington used to be before they repaved it. Some telemetry here on Kyle Petty's car. They're doing some dancing out there, aren't they?
Looked like the 4 car was getting a little loose as he came off the corner. Let's see how many RPMs. I couldn't tell how many RPMs that Kyle turned. But we see the slowest speed he gets down to in the corner is about 73 miles an hour. That's a
slow up there on the bottom, too.
They said the 15 is slow.
Get him to move over.
That's the spotter telling the 15 is slow on the bottom, so don't try to dive inside someone. You'll get trapped behind the 16.
What do you get, about 83, 8400 RPM, Benny?
I was trying to talk. I can't talk and look at the same time.
There's Kyle moving inside of Marlin.
There. Steve Grissom comes along. Well, he was clear. Grissom did not make the pass. He was not able to get down there.
There's a mess is what we got right there.
Yeah, that is a mess. Dale Jarrett has found him a groove up on the outside. He's passed 4 or 5 cars there on the outside.
And the 37 car is still running there with Dale. They had a collision earlier.
And you see the right front fender on that 37 car? That baby's sticking right out there, acting like a sail when he goes down the straightaway.
But it hadn't slowed him up much.
I don't know. There was a report that he really didn't have any chassis damage, just sheet metal damage to the 37 car.
Well, I tell you, if a car is even a half a second a lap slower than you are here, it is very, very tough to pass. But there's not many cars out there that are a half a second apart. I mean, we're talking tenths and hundredths of a second, and which makes it almost impossible to pass.
A race for third place.
Rusty Wallace trying to take third from Brett Bodine. Has the inside line and gets it. Rusty moves to third.
And he's doing some serious steering as he came off that corner.
Oh, and the spin, Dave Marcus and Lake Speed get together. And a bunch of cars really.
And here comes the leader, Earnhardt, into this mess. But I'm sure his spotters told him to slow down. Yes, they did.
A lot of cars just simply have to stop.
We got Lake Speed up at the top of the track. And we have Dave Marcus at the bottom.
And they got together going into turn 3, touched just a little bit, and both of them went around.
And Dave is going the wrong way. I got news for you, Dave.
And we'll show you the beginning of it as they go into the turn. See Marcus on the inside. He's going to touch him right there, just enough to send the 9 car of Lake Speed around.
Now here's the whole thing from a robotic camera. There they make contact. And Michael Walters, how did he miss that 71 car?
Good heads-up driving. And see here how many cars try to get in that hole, and they just simply have to stop. There's nowhere for them to go. Or not that many, at least. And everybody now into the pits.
Once again, pit stops occurring as the second caution is waving over North Wilkesboro. Here's Jerry and Jeff Gordon's pit.
And you might wonder why they would pit again. They just pitted about 24 laps ago. It's because what we showed you a moment ago with tire wear. He gets 4 fresh tires, and Gordon is down. There's Brett Bodine down. And Rusty, a great pit stop by Robin Tiverton. As Dale Earnhardt getting 4 tires, he comes out of the pits in 4th spot. 4 fresh tires for cars on the lead lap. Up.
So it will be Rusty up front when we go back to racing in a few moments. Brett Bodine out second, then Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt, and Mark Martin. Let's take a look at this spin once again up in corner 3.
Now we see all the cars trying to stop, brake, sliding the tires. And watch as both these cars, one inside, one outside. There's Terry Labonte, Bobby Labonte. He and the 28 car make contact. Jeff Bodine just simply stopped up there.
We should give a call, though, to Dave Marcus because he had moved up to 19th from 36th position when he had that run-in with Lake Speed. So we're under caution once again. Take a break. Be back with more live coverage of the First Union 400. Welcome back to North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, and the First Union 400. Rusty Wallace has the lead in this race. Brett Bodine running second, then Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt, and Mark Martin. So Dale went from 1st to 4th. Jerry, why?
Let me show you what happened in the Earnhardt pit. They changed the right side tires, and while they're changing the right side, they take the left side lug nuts off. Now, when they drop the jack on the right side, the left side lug nuts already being off, let the left side of the car fall, and therefore David Smith couldn't get the base plate of the jack beneath the pin, the left side of the car to jack the left side up. That cost them an additional possibly 3 or 4 seconds, at least 3 spots on the racetrack, Bob.
Just like we documented in our pre-race show, it is so important in the pits.
And there you see, the first thing you see from this shot is where the jack goes on the right side of the Family Channel Ford. The little white thing that sticks down is the jack stop, or the little pipe that comes down, they place the jack under.
Boy, that camera on Dick Trickle's car last week at Bristol showed us some great shots, and I'm sure it will today from Ted Musgraves. Now Earnhardt pulls up to challenge Jeff.
these other cars, it makes you keep thinking he's going to try running even higher and passing these guys on the outside. Really, he could try right now because there's no one right behind him to get under him if he should try.
He's probably testing that groove out, and also, like you said earlier, making them think he's going to go up there.
Joe Nemechek, Terry Labonte, and Dale Jarrett are racing for position back in 19th, 20th, and 21st. John?
Bob, Dale Jarrett has a little left rear quarter panel damage on his car. That's not affecting it at all. Larry McReynolds says the car is okay. But on the very first pit stop, their right rear tire changer, Eric Horn, injured his knee. Not seriously enough to go to the care center, but seriously enough that he can no longer do pit stops. For that second stop, they had to do some changes. Raymond Fox moved over from the left side lug nut to the left rear to the right rear, while Doug Yates moved to the left side and left rear. They only lost a half a second. 17:70 for the first pit stop, 18:27 for the second pit stop.
Inside Kyle Petty's car, that's Derek Cope right beside of him. There's Kyle coming up behind the 71 car, trying to get alongside Dave Martin. Now down to turn 1. Oh, and they get through the corner somehow. And Cope is now hung up on the inside of the 4 car. He's going to try it on the inside.
And he's going to make a 3 abreast. Is he going to? Hey, that might not work. Well, Dave Marcus backed off, which was smart.
And looky here, Earnhardt trying his best to get by Jeff Gordon, and we see Mike Wallace on the outside. There's 3rd and 4th place. Jeff Gordon in 24, Dale Earnhardt in 3. Gordon is 3rd, Earnhardt in 4th. The leaders right now, Rusty Wallace, and Brett Bodine is in 2nd. Inside Mark Mark's car, 5th place car.
He goes to the inside of Mike Wallace.
There's 6th, Bobby Hamilton, the STP Pontiac.
And then Ricky Rudd right behind him. The Fran Field summary where they were running last time around.
Still 29 cars on the lead lap.
The new pit wall on the inside of Mark Martin as he comes down the front straightaway by the start-finish line. And tries to close up on the 3 car. As you see Jeff Gordon trying to look inside the 11 up in front. Yeah, it looks like that the 11 is going to be going a little wide. No.
While they're doing that racing, Rusty Wallace has driven off from him.
Pit stop, his car stalled, wouldn't start, and pushed it to the garage area. And I see he's driven back out on the racetrack now, but he's several laps down, at least 15, 16 laps.
John Andretti, even with the damage on the right front of that race car, has moved up to 14th position.
Make that 13th, because he just passed Darrell Walter.
And he also had to take a provisional. Started at the rear of the field in 34th position. So Andretti is making his way to the front rather quickly, despite the damage there on the right front after contact with Dale Jarrett.
Talked to Michael Kranovitz this morning, one of the owners of the 37 car, and he is very, very pleased with the job that John Andretti is doing in that Kmart Little Caesars car.
Pizza, pizza.
Racing. That's right. Steve Christian to the 29 car, trying to get alongside.
And once again, Jeff Gordon looks to the outside of Brett Bodine, but they continue to run in that order, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Bodine, Gordon, and Earnhardt. Here is Kyle Petty going to the inside of Ted Musgrave.
Behind the 43.
Going to 9th.
There's Kyle Petty's radio we were listening to. Cameras in both those cars. There's a camera on top of Kyle Petty's car. Hey!
Look at this.
3
Dale
cars.
Earnhardt moves to 3rd place, passing Jeff Gordon.
Jeff couldn't get by the 11, so Earnhardt said, hey, boy, move over. Let me try this. And at 23 years old, I think about anybody here can call Jeff Gordon boy.
Mark Martin is right there in 5th, not too far behind Jeff Gordon now. What a great run in Bristol last weekend, but had to give up 2nd place with a few laps to go. Now we have Rudd and Greg Sachs going at it. This is for 7th position, and Greg Sachs, talk about people that have moved up in the early part of the race. Look at this, from 32nd to 8th.
He had an absolute great pit stop as Earnhardt makes the move around Brett Bodine and takes over 2nd.
Now Jeff, well, he had an idea, but couldn't do it.
Now, let's see if Earnhardt can run down Rusty Wallace. We can see that Earnhardt is faster than Brett Bodine. He pulled 1 car length on that back straightaway.
What's your unofficial stopwatch saying, Dad, as to Rusty's lead here?
2 3/10 seconds.
Well,
that was the last lap, yeah.
Yeah.
There he is. That's Rusty Wallace on their left. There he is, Rusty Wallace, and Earnhardt was the car on their right.
Now, Earnhardt has closed the envelope since he has moved into 2nd. She's only about 1 8/10 seconds. So we'll take a look at it officially here.
Brett Bodine, 2.3, 2.6, and Hamilton, 3.3. Jerry, what about Jeff Gordon here?
Bob, not really surprised to see Earnhardt go by Jeff Gordon after I showed you that tire a little bit ago, realizing that Gordon ran the car pretty hard early on and had only about a 32nd and a half on that right rear. And they realized that they cannot burn tires off the car that quickly this afternoon to be able to be there at 400 laps. So they're going to back off a little bit, stay on the lead lap, conserve the tires and the race car until it's time to make their move.
Kyle Petty passes another car. This one is Ricky Rudd.
And that puts him in 8th place. Rudd moves back to 9th. Ben Musgrave is 10th, right behind him.
So Rusty Wallace, the only driver with 2 top 5 finishes on short tracks in 1995, has the lead of this race with almost 100 laps or a fourth of the event gone already. We're watching from Ted Musgrave. Car as he battles with Ricky Rudd. They're into the corner side by side, and Musgrave may come out of it with the Spire. Now Jeff Gordon trying to take over 3rd position from Brett Bodine, and he will make the move. Now it's Wallace, Earnhardt, Gordon, Bodine, and Martin. Let's take a look at whether or not Earnhardt has been able to eat into that advantage that Rusty Wallace has on him. Earnhardt is running in 2nd position. On the 90th lap, he was 2.5 seconds behind Wallace. And on the 94th lap, he had cut into that advantage by 1 second. Now about a 1.5 seconds behind Rusty Wallace, the leader of the Force Union 400 with 302 laps to go. Back in a moment. They're running Formula One today for the 2nd time this year. They're the top 5 qualifiers for the Grand Prix of Argentina as they return to that country. David Coulthard on the pole with Damon Hill alongside his teammate. Michael Schumacher, the defending world champion, is 3rd. You can see this race at 9 o'clock Eastern time tonight on The Deuce, ESPN2. 9 o'clock Eastern time tonight. Mark Martin, we're riding with him here in the Valvoline car, just past the 11th car and went to 4th.
Down in turn 1. There's a lap car in there. We see it. 11 car right behind him. 43. Bobby Hamilton has caught the 11 car.
I wanted to say that, man. And Earnhardt has caught up to Wallace, hasn't he?
Yep.
And Wallace coming in on some heavy traffic.
There's the interval between that group and 1st and 2nd, and you can see that it's just a matter of car lengths as Rusty approaches some slower traffic, and now look at Dale close in.
Ricky Craven wisely moves up, lets Rusty Wallace on the inside. And Earnhardt was saying, shucks, why do you make him go on the outside? Because I think I'm better high than Rusty Wallace.
But now here are 2 cars running side by side in front of him. What you going to do about them? Okay, Presley gets on by Jimmy Spencer, so that put it down to single cars.
And John Andretti picked up another spot as we watch this battle for the lead. He passed Ricky Rudd. Andretti now to 10th. Robert Presley. And again, passing these guys are not going to be that easy because Presley wants to stay in the lead lap. And when Rusty Wallace goes by, that's not possible.
Presley is running in 26th position, so still a lot of cars as a result of the 2 cautions we've had.
Here's Earnhardt once again looking on the outside.
He's just going to aggravate Rusty up there.
Earnhardt has 28 top 10 finishes in the last 32 starts here at North Wilkesboro, a 6.5 per race finishing average at this facility. Now Wallace to the inside of Robert Presley.
Once again said, next one you make him go high. But he passed Presley on the inside. Now Earnhardt is right there.
The next car they're coming up on 2 lap is Ward. Bill Elliott is riding just ahead of Ward.
Bill already is a lap down.
And Ward Burton moves over. He's trying to go by Bill Elliott. Meanwhile, he has the leaders right behind him. Rusty really don't know which way to go now.
Of course, Ward is 2 laps down because he lost a lap, at least 1 lap in that spin early in the race.
I mentioned earlier in the show that Tony Gibson, the crew chief on Bill Elliott's car, had a problem. Jerry Bunch, what was his problem?
Apparently, Tony woke up about 1 o'clock this morning with an intestinal flu and just got worse and worse and weaker as the morning went on. And finally, about 10 o'clock this morning, he could not even stand up. We took a look at him and got some of the doctors from North Carolina Baptist Hospital also involved. Dr. Meredith looked at him and decided that Tony needed some fluids, obviously. And because of some other concerns, we decided to take him out of the racetrack to a nearby hospital for x-ray. So about 10 minutes before we dropped the green flag, we loaded Tony in an ambulance and took him to a nearby hospital where currently he is being x-rayed, looking at his stomach. And currently we have no further updates on him. If I hear anything, I'll pass it along, Bob.
Oh, they're side by side everywhere, Doc. Now we got Earnhardt right to the inside of Rusty Wallace. And we had Dale Jarrett and a couple of other drivers 3 wide down in another corner a second ago. Earnhardt takes the lead.
Earnhardt is strong today. He was able to run down Rusty Wallace and pass him for the lead. And here comes Rusty back on the inside. But Rusty keeps losing the back. I've seen that 2-car wiggle several times as he exits a corner as Jimmy Spencer tries to go by on the outside. Spencer's made a pit stop, has new tires, so he'll pass both the leaders with no problem.
Rusty led 50 laps before he gave it up to Dale Earnhardt.
Now Spencer he was already 1 lap down. He lost 2 on his pit stop, so he was 3. So now he'll be 2 laps down once he has got around Earnhardt, which he has now.
Musgrave, Marlin, and Andretti all passed by Joe Nemechek.
That's 8th, 9th, and 10th. Musgrave in 8th. Sterling Marlin, the car we're riding with, is in 9th place, and John Andretti is in 10th.
Ooh. I was looking at something that the camera wasn't.
What did you know about anyway?
Todd Bodine got awfully loose right in front of Dale Earnhardt.
Now we'll go back to the 25-28 race that we saw just a moment ago before Earnhardt took the lead. There we see Ken Schrader, the Bud car, and that Texaco Hamlin car of Dale Jarrett.
Now Schrader made an extra pit stop on that last caution, had to go all the way back to the back, so he's worked his way back up to 14th position now.
Wallace and Dale Earnhardt approaching some heavy traffic up ahead.
Dave Marcus running very slow on the outside of the racetrack down in turn 1. There you see the leaders went by Dave as he's up on the outside. I don't know if he's trying to get in to go into the pits or what the situation is, but he couldn't get in, so he's still up on the outside. And Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt are in very, very heavy traffic.
They put a lap. That was Jeff Burton that they just passed, as we see Jarrett on the inside of Schrader trying to take that 14th spot away. He has position this time and will take the spot.
Well, Jerry Spotter has told him that the leaders are cleaned up back there behind him, and they need to get on.
Speaking of the leaders, you're right, Ned. They're not that far behind them.
Just passing Morgan Shepherd, or trying to pass Morgan Shepherd and Derek Cope. They're running in the 21st and 22nd positions.
And Derek Cope is going a lap down after an excellent qualifying performance that has not gone very well during the race here so far.
We saw Jimmy Spencer just a moment ago after he changed tires back on the racetrack and how fast he was. The speeds with new tires are running about 113 miles an hour, and right now they're averaging about 106 miles an hour.
277 laps to go in this 400 lapper here at North Wilkesboro. Earnhardt leads. ESPN Speed World coverage of the First Union 400 is being brought to you by Quaker State, the intelligent oil for longer engine life. By Allied Signals Autolite Spark Plugs, guaranteed for 2 years no matter how far you go. And by McDonald's. Have you had your break today? It is still Dale Earnhardt leading Rusty Wallace, and they're coming up on Jeff Bodine, who's running in 19th position, just about to lap him.
A couple of cars coming into the pits as Rusty Wallace makes a move on Earnhardt, but Bobby Labonte and Joe Nemechek are coming in. They've had all they can stand with that slipping and sliding.
Actually, the 18 car is leaving. He's already made his pit stop, and Nemechek is coming in, as you said.
Now, we'll get mixed up on that because this long, or I will, this long pit road here. Yeah, Labonte is pitting way around towards turn 4. Nemechek had a good qualifying run, and he's down here.
You don't know who's coming or going, do you, Nick?
No,
it's been about 65 laps with the leader, so it won't be long. Nemechek's car was very good. See that damage on the right front fender of his car? I think that might have knocked the toe end out on that car when he made some contact with Kyle Petty making a pit stop.
About a 21-second pit stop for Nemechek. He's back out there, and we continue to see Earnhardt trying to lap Jeff Bodine and now Greg Sachs.
And Greg Sachs, the Kendall car, was very, very fast a few laps ago, but now he has fallen back in the clutches of our leader, Dale Earnhardt. You saw that come out from under the 3 car. That was rubber buildup that had collected under his car going down in turn 1. That was not debris from Earnhardt's car. It was Earnhardt's car, but it was not part of his car.
And John Andretti has picked up an up to 8th position. He has passed Ted Musgrave and Sterling Marlin since we saw him last, and now runs 8th.
I think that Tim Brewer, the crew chief on that 37 car, learned a little something about North Wilkesboro in the years he spent here with Junior Johnson.
And John Kernan has more on John Andretti.
Vinny, I think you're exactly right. When I talked to Tim Brewer this morning, he just gave me that look, smiled, and said, hey, we messed up in qualifying. We didn't do that good a job at the race. We're going to be great. In fact, that last pit stop, Andretti took on only right side tires, so it's amazing that he's running as well as he is.
Jeff Gordon is on pit road for his stop. You can see Ricky Rudd also in. Let's watch Jeff Gordon's pit stop as he relinquished 3rd position to come in. Jerry Punch is there.
And they have already put the right side tires on the DuPont Chevrolet. Our pole sitting car now getting left side tires. No chassis adjustment. They cleaned the windshield. And the right rear is worn out once again as Gordon is down and away in 17.9 seconds.
Man, that's a great pit stop. 4 tires.
Yeah.
And only 7 men across the wall.
It's still Earnhardt leading Rusty Wallace, but not by much. They continue to lap slower traffic. Now Earnhardt finally puts a lap on Jeff Bodine.
Who is running in 16th
there's
position.
a tire run across pit road.
Off of Dale Jarrett's car, we understand.
And cars are coming in. Hopefully they'll miss that tire. So far they have.
There's Ricky Craven coming in as Dale Jarrett goes out. And a new leader as we watch the activity on pit road now. Here's the new leader, Rusty Wallace, who who got around Earnhardt again.
And Michael Waltrip, the Pennzoil car, finally he moves over. Rusty Wallace gets alongside.
Jerry Cope is in the pits, and so is Ricky Craven.
Just a moment ago, we saw Dale Jerry Punch.
And it took almost 30 seconds for Coach Ford to get down here to the end of pit road where he is pitting, as they change all 4 tires and move away. And remember, Earnhardt pits even further away than Coach. We'll watch and see how long it'll take him to get from entrance to exit of pit road.
And we see Kyle Petty entering pits in turn 3. Michael Waltrip's coming in. And there he's in his pits, John Kernan.
Remember earlier I told you about the radio problem. Michael Waltrip, they got it fixed. They got it plugged back in so Michael can tell him how the car is handling. This time it'll be a 4-tire change. Right side's already on. They'll come around to the left side. No chassis adjustment as Kyle Petty has made his way on the pit road. Michael gunning the engine. Plug got too tight. He's down and away.
Now we see Kyle getting in the drink as he sits patiently waiting on the crew to finish. As Michael Waltrip leaves, also the 5 car leaving his pits. Here comes Bobby Hamilton. Kyle's car is down. He's leaving the pit, shifts to second gear. Now has to watch that tachometer, about 3,500 RPMs as Bobby Hamilton comes to a stop in the STP car.
Ken Schrader is also in.
Boy, these cars that have pitted are gaining a lot of distance on Rusty Wallace. Now, Earnhardt's coming in. Earnhardt's coming in right now. But Rusty Wallace has really slowed. I got a clock on him right now. He just turned that last lap in 21 2/10 seconds. We'll see how long it'll take Earnhardt to get to his pits. I mean, 35 miles an hour is the pit road speed. Boy, it seems like an eternity from the time you enter that pit back there in turn 3 till you get all the way down to his at the far end.
His is the very first one down at turn 1, Jerry.
And the championship pit stall, and Dale Earnhardt will get all 4 tires. Rusty Wallace is pitting 2 spots back. He's on his way down pit road at a very patient 35 miles per hour. Now the strategy here is they'd like to be able to go on 2 more pit stops in the Earnhardt pit as Rusty comes down pit road. Earnhardt is down and away, and here is Rusty now getting right side tires on the Miller Genuine Draft Ford Thunderbird. That's Billy Wilburn putting the right front lug nuts on. They clean the front grill. There's rubber in the front grill. And trouble now with the right rear. They're having trouble, Benny.
Evidently they had a lug nut stuck in the socket or something. They had to go back around and get another wrench. And you see the car is sitting on the air hose. So now they can't even use that wrench. They've got to get another one for the left rear.
Oh, man, boy, that cost them a lot of extra time.
Just a disastrous pit stop for Rusty Wallace. Mark Martin is on pit road getting service on the Valvoline Ford.
And I think that's put John Andretti in the lead.
Indeed it has. John Andretti, the leader, as Martin pulls away. There's the leader, John Andretti.
But boy, he is getting slow because of those tires. You can see cars just passing him at will.
Yeah, I was going to say, he certainly doesn't look like a leader, does he?
No.
Because every car there is going by him, and he just almost stopped him up the corner, and he's still going down the racetrack.
Boy, he's hoping for a caution, but it's going to cost him because he don't come out here in the next lap.
And Rusty Wallace, after that disastrous pit stop, he lost almost a half lap to Earnhardt, is still in heavy, heavy traffic trying to get by Spencer. There he is. But with fresh tires, he should be able to pass these guys. But right now, they're side by side. They just, what's he going to do?
John Andretti has the lap lead. No, Jeff Gordon just got back in the lead lap when he passed John Andretti.
So right now, Jeff Gordon will be the fastest, the front cars of all the fastest cars. Now let's watch and see what happened to Rusty Wallace. He makes his pit stop, comes to stop, then we watch the guy on the right rear. He's got a nut stuck in the socket. He says to them, give me another wrench. He goes around and pops these nuts off, takes the tire off, and changes it. He grabs the gun, and you see they left the car down on that impact wrench. So now they've got to have another one to change to the other side. Jerry Punch, once more.
And Benny, what you're looking at, this little lug nut right here stuck in that air gun, cost them about 5.5 seconds here in the pits. They have been trying to pry it out with a screwdriver, and it won't come out. They've been doing everything they can, and you hear, I'm whirling this baby around, and it is stuck in there. That cost them an extra 5, almost 6 seconds on pit road.
Dropping Rusty to 9th place after being in the lead.
Petty continues to run out there on the inside of the track. If there is no caution, I don't know how long they plan to run, but he's going to find himself probably a lap down when he does finally make his pit stop. Here's Earnhardt about to come up and get back in the lead lap.
Bad break for Earnhardt because he ran across Earnhardt, who was very slow at Nemechek, and that cost Earnhardt a couple of seconds.
But he will get back in the lead lap now as he passes Andretti. Earnhardt is running in third place.
Well, right now, John Andretti is running about 105 miles an hour, probably. Average speed, Earnhardt's running about 112 miles an hour.
Finally, he comes in.
Finally. Now, watch as he comes down pit road, and let's go to John Kernan.
Benny, John Andretti comes in. Tim Brewer, the gambler, rolling the dice. This time, they will change all 4 tires. About 90 laps they went on this. Well, actually, right side tires. The left sides, they changed the first pit stop. So the left side's a lot of laps on them. Already done with the right side. No chassis adjustment. Left going up. Left side tires going on. Gasoline is full. Lug nuts are tightened. They had a little problem with that left front tire. 21.1 seconds. Andretti is down and away.
And now he has to keep it under 35 all the way down to turn number 1.
Now you wonder, how do they check 35 miles an hour? You see that white line? That white line, they time these cars, and the time that it takes to go between those lines estimates their speed. They do it with a stopwatch.
Jeff Gordon has picked up the lead once again of this race. Dale Earnhardt is second. Kyle Petty third. Brett Bodine fourth. And Mark Martin is fifth. Welcome back to the first Union 400 at North Wilkesboro, North Carolina Speedway. Jeff Gordon is in the lead. We have completed a set of green flag pit stops, and Jeff is back in front. Now there is Mark Martin and Brett Bodine, fourth and fifth.
Martin just passed it, and we see John Andretti after that pit stop.
He's a lap down, Benny, in 18th spot.
We predicted that he would be a lap down once he made his pit stop if there was no caution. Of course, there was not. And they stayed out there on those old tires. Now he'll be able to run a whole lot longer this time. In fact, he ran about 20 laps longer than did Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon is the leader now, so if Andretti passes him, that still does not put him back in the lead lap. He's got to catch the 24 car of Jeff Gordon.
Earnhardt running second, racing here with Michael Waltrip and Terry Labonte. Waltrip will move high on the track, allowing Dale to have the inside line in the 3. Jerry, what's the situation now regarding tires after this set of green flag stops?
Well, behind me is the waiting room, Bob. Now, prior to the race, Goodyear allowed each team to have a total of 6 sets of tires, 3 to practice and qualify, and 6 for today's race. But that wouldn't be enough. So what Goodyear did was hold 400 tires in reserve. And NASCAR said after lap 100, you can release those tires 2 sets at a time to first come, first serve teams. So behind me, the teams have lined up with their empty tire carts. And on this side, the Goodyear tire busters are working as fast as they can in here. And NASCAR even has an official. That's Buster Alton over there. He is programming and monitoring to make sure that each team gets a maximum of 2 additional sets.
Jeff Gordon is the leader, and he has about a 3-second lead, isn't it, over Dale Earnhardt, who is in second place. Kyle Petty has worked his way up to third place.
Now Jeff Gordon coming up on Darrell Waltrip, who is running in 15th position to put a lap on him. Maybe fans are wondering, we saw Rusty Wallace with that long pit stop. Now, he did not lose a lap once they all made their pit stops. He was back in the lead lap. He currently is in 6th place. He just passed Dale Jarrett and taken over the 6th position.
And here's an Autolite field summary for you. There's Darrell Waltrip running in 15th position and right ahead of the leader. There you see the cars that are a lap down, led by John Andretti, who's right behind Earnhardt.
And John Andretti, I guess the strategy on that Kmart car today is to just try to make it on one less pit stop, because he should be able to blow right by Earnhardt right now, but he must be conserving those tires, trying to get them to last just a little bit longer.
Yeah, and if it goes green all the way and they make one less stop, then that could work out great for us. That's a good strategy.
Yep, Barry told Jerry in the pre-race show that we might have a surprise winner, and it could be John. Here's the roof cam on Kyle Petty.
David Green's down there somewhere. David 16th. Turn him around.
Kyle Petty is sick. Phoenix told him this morning he's not feeling well. They talked about David Green being there. John Kernan, what's going on with Kyle Petty?
Benny, I just talked to Barry Dodson about Kyle. He said Kyle woke up this morning, a touch of his stomach flu or something like that, not feeling very well. Barry said, to put it bluntly, he's pretty sick right now. So they're trying to figure out who they might be able to call as a relief driver. You just heard him mention David Green. They've also talked about Roy Allen and Dave Marcus. At first, they talked about Dick Trickle, but Dick Trickle fairly back in his race car. But one thing that Barry did tell Kyle, after Kyle requested a relief driver, Barry said, hey, you're in third place right now. Hang on, we'll try and find somebody.
25 laps from halfway.
That's not what he wanted to hear. 25 laps from halfway. Earnhardt closing up on the back bumper of the 24 car. And we can see how he did it.
Well, on lap 168, he was 2 seconds behind, and at 172, he was just 9/10 of a second behind Dale Earnhardt. Gordon was ahead of Dale Earnhardt.
And we can see that Earnhardt is very, very consistent, 20.3 to 20.5.
Now, Gordon made his pit stop several laps before Earnhardt did. We saw him come up on Darrell Waltrip there a moment ago. Darrell is pulled away from him now, so Darrell is running faster than Jeff Gordon. His tires are getting hot. Here comes Andretti. Now, if he passes the leader, whoever it is, at the time he gets there, then he'll get back in the lead lap, which he should be able to do with those fresher tires. A change for the lead right there.
Earnhardt takes the lead from Jeff Gordon. Here comes John Andretti trying to unlap himself. Again, he'll have to pass the 3 car to get back on the lead lap, but he has gotten around the second place. Jerry, tell us more about the strategy here.
Well, here's what Andy Petrie has calculated to try to do with Dale Earnhardt. They pitted on lap 144. He would like to be able to make the rest of the race on just 2 pit stops, meaning if he runs 85 laps on the previous stop, that'll mean he'll come back in on lap 229 and then run 85 more laps, come in on lap 314 and have just 86 to go to the checkered flag. He wants to go, if possible, on 2 more stops for the 3 car.
Earnhardt going by Derek Cole. Straight out of the car as John Andretti follows him.
Andretti can't get the lap back, at least at the moment. It continues to be Dale Earnhardt leading Jeff Gordon, Kyle Petty, Mark Martin, and Rusty Wallace as 179 out of 400 laps have been completed. And here are 6 through 10. We'll be right back. Track Facts are brought to you by Quaker State, the intelligent oil for longer engine life.
What do race drivers and mechanics mean when they say she blowed up? Well, here you see it. This is a heavily damaged cylinder head. Why? Probably because this valve spring broke. The valve spring holds the valve in place. When it broke, the valves floated around and snapped off. There's a good intake valve. There's a good exhaust valve. And you can see when they snapped off, all the pieces went throughout the engine, destroying the cylinder head. Yeah, you talk to those crew chiefs, they say she blowed up, but they got presence of mind enough to say, but boy, that Budweiser Chevrolet was running good. And the Budweiser Chevrolet is about to be lapped by Earnhardt.
Yeah, but he's been there for about 8 or 10 laps now. Tim Schrader's been able to stay out there in front of Earnhardt. Schrader's running in the 15th position, so there are 15 cars on the lead lap.
And Kyle Petty, we understand, is very ill and is asking the pit crew to get a relief driver so that they can get him out and the relief driver in. He has dropped from second back to fifth, or third back to fifth.
He's about to lose another spot to Brett Bodine. Spotter tells me Brett is inside of him.
Todd Bodine is 3 laps down there in the 75 car in 30th position. This team has really come on strong the last few races, and now with Kyle being ill,
Guys, Marcus out.
Barry Dodson asked Kyle, is Dave Marcus out? I mean, right now, there's no drivers around to put in this car.
Everybody is still running.
Yep, all 36 cars still out there. Marcus was out for a while, but he's back out on the racetrack now.
Now we have Mark Martin moving to the inside of Rusty Wallace and taking over third. Martin goes to third place.
A while back. Rusty had passed him. Now Mark returns the favor.
There Kyle is losing more spots as Sterling Marlin goes by. Ted Musgrave goes by. Rick Mass behind him trying to get by. That's 6th, 7th, 8th. That'll move him back to 9th spot.
Clear.
That was Musgrave's spotter telling Musgrave that he was clear.
Clear.
There goes Rick Mast. He's up to 8th, Kyle back to 9th position.
As we watch this, I don't know if we told you that John Andretti in the Kmart car did pass Dale Earnhardt to get back in the lead lap.
He is 12th. John Andretti 12th, back on the lead lap. Less than 5 laps from the halfway point of this 400-lap event.
Richie Rudd coming into the pit from the retired Ford. Steve Grissom just made a pit stop a couple laps ago. Steve was on the lead lap. And once he went off the lead lap, Earnhardt passed him. He came in. Now Steve is 2 laps down in 27th place.
We see the graphic, 204 laps to go, coming up on halfway. And how much is it Dale Earnhardt wins at halfway, Ned?
$10 grand.
Wow.
Gatorade.
Gatorade, yep, for leading at the halfway point. There is Earnhardt.
3 more to go.
197 complete.
Man, his truck won the Super Truck race last night in Tucson.
Well, it's Teresa's, but...
Okay, Ron Hornaday won the race, and Earnhardt / Teresa's truck.
Yes. P.J. Jones put on a great performance, coming from 3 laps down to finish second. Yeah, it was.
And we see Darrell Waltrip still ahead of the leader, Dale Earnhardt, and Earnhardt 3 wide. Got Jeff Burton on the outside, but backs off. Now he is on the inside of Schrader, trying to put that Budweiser Chevy a lap down.
It'll be 14th position, but Schrader is running in right now.
Sterling Marlin, this is looking back from the rear of his car at Ted Musgrave as Joe Nemechek, the Burger King car, comes up. There's on top of the Family Channel Ford looking back.
And there is the halfway point. Earnhardt crosses the stripe, leads at the halfway part, marked 200 laps completed, and wins 10 grand.
Rick Mass. And there we see Musgrave on the inside of Marlin trying to take a spot away. That's for 6th spot. He does it. Now here comes Rick Mass trying to take over 7th. Sterling Marlin kicks back to 8th.
There are a lot of cars slipping and sliding out there right now. Excuse me, Jimmy.
Greg Sachs coming in the 5th. We saw just a moment ago.
Jeff Burton is out of the 5th.
Here's Sachs coming to a halt and letting the crew go to work on the Kendall car. Show you a field summary meanwhile as we watch the action in Greg Sachs' pit. Making a chassis adjustment. And here is Dale Earnhardt coming up on 13th place, Darrell Waltrip.
And folks, I didn't work on this 17th car. It was the one last week that finished 3rd that I worked on. Rick Mast trying to chase down Musgrave. Here comes the 18th car. Evidently he stopped to change his tires.
Yep, he did. He had gotten a awfully loose.
Bobby Labonte has dropped back to 25th position in the 18 car.
Now we see the 11 car. Brett Bodine, outside pole sitter, has fallen back. Here comes Musgrave and Mass. These guys trying to get by the 11 car.
And Benny, we understand that the 30 car, Michael Walter, may be having brake problems.
Michael is in 17th position, 1 lap down.
And there we see Rick Mast on the inside of Brett Bodine. Musgrave has already gotten by, and Mast gets by. This is inside Rick Mast's car. See the 41 car coming down the pit road.
Kyle is going a lap down to Dale Earnhardt.
There Jarrett comes into the pits. Ricky Craven coming into the pits as well.
And the 28 car of Jarrett is in for a pit stop.
Now, this is the first pit entering pit road. Oh, trouble. Had to jack the car back up to get the hose out from under the right rear still hung. Looks like they get it out now.
The pressure is on those guys to get their driver in and out of the pits as quickly as possible. Okay, back out on the racetrack. It is still Earnhardt leading on the right of your screen. And Jerry Punch has a report on the 24 car, still running second.
He is second on the racetrack, but he's losing spots right and left, Bob. And the reason he isn't contesting for spots is because he is trying to milk those tires as long as he can. Remember, he pitted 7 laps before Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace. He pitted back on lap 137. He can't continue to do that, give away 7 or 8 laps for pit stop. That would mean 1 extra stop for them. So here's what Ray Evernham told Jeff. Said, hey, take care of the tires, sit out there and ride. We got to go to lap 225 for our next stop. I know it's a long way, but you got to milk those tires. That means we're going to run 88 laps. That's why you see Gordon slowing down in the corner.
And that is 14 laps away from right now. We're on lap 211. And you can see there that Jeff Gordon is coming up on Kyle Petty to also put Kyle a lap down. We'll be back with more of our live coverage right after this. Welcome back to North Wilkesboro. First of all, let's tell you that Jeff Gordon did not make it to the 225 lap mark. He has already been in, and now here comes Rusty Wallace. It's the long road down for Rusty, who was running second. Jerry Punch is right there. He's at his pit. Jerry?
And Rusty Wallace wanted to make it to lap 217 because of Gordon deciding to pit about 15 laps early. They had no option but to come in early. The 3 car, Dale Earnhardt, our leader, just entering pit road, way up in turn 3. Remember, he is some 30 seconds away as you watch the left side tires going on the Miller Genuine Draft for 16.9 seconds as Wallace moves away, and now Dale Earnhardt will enter his pits, and we'll watch to see if Andy Petrie and company, David Smith, are going to work on the right side of that car. Remember, earlier they had a problem with the jack on the left side. They took the left side lug nuts off, the car fell, they couldn't get the jack on it. This time, no such problem. Here's Smith around, left side of the car, being jacked up, left front, left rear tire, it's full of fuel, and Earnhardt is down and away. As Sterling Marlin also enters the pit for his scheduled pit stop.
He pulls out. The 16 car, Ted Musgrave, is also just pulling out. So is Rick Mash. Bobby Hamilton and Mark Martin are still getting service. The 21 car of Morgan Shepherd comes down. There's Mark Martin as they go to work on the left side of that car.
You see him put the car in first gear. He's through with his drink of water. He said, I'm ready to go. That jack goes down. That's his signal. Away he drives.
18.4 seconds for Mark Martin on his stop. The best by far, Rusty Wallace in the crew, and under 17.
I guess he's back on top.
There he is.
John Andretti.
John Andretti.
Once again, you can see what happens. He's going around the racetrack with those worn tires, and the guys who change those, stop to change tires, just blowing right by him. He'll probably be out for another 20, 30 laps.
Probably so. He went 20 longer the first time than did Jeff Gordon. Not 20 longer than Earnhardt did, but yeah, he'll probably stay out there another 15 or 20 laps.
And right now, Kyle Petty has not stopped either because they're desperately trying to find a relief driver. So he's in second place currently, and Dale Earnhardt is still on the lead lap.
Here comes John. Well, this is a bit of a surprise. He comes in way earlier than he did last time. John Kernan.
It'll be a 4-tire change for John Andretti. Tim Brewer, knowing what he knows about this racetrack, figured he might as well pit just about. After he saw what had happened with that first time, they lost a lot of time on the track by staying out there looking for the caution. Left side's on now, no chance the adjustment. John Andretti is down the way at 19.1 seconds.
Not a bad stop for John. A little bit of a change of strategy here for that team.
Now we're back to 13 cars in the lead lap, and Darrell Waltrip is the last of those on the lead lap.
John Andretti is going down a lap. Yes, Earnhardt goes by Andretti just as he goes by. Kyle Petty is the leader of the race, but I think Earnhardt, to me, is the real leader.
Well,
yeah, Kyle is running much slower than those who have, of course, changed the tires.
Here's back to the cars other than, now there is the leader of the race, Dale Earnhardt. He, in fact, is a leader now, right, Ned?
yes.
He's Kyle. He now, in fact, is the leader.
That is correct. So now there are just 12 cars on the lead lap as John Andretti has gone a lap down. But he has pressure tires in Earnhardt. Oh, and a spin. Mike Wallace is in the wall.
Up in turn 3, we have our caution flag, the third one of the day. Boy, if Andretti had stayed out, he'd be in good shape, huh?
Yeah, now let's see, Kyle Petty's still out there, so this is a definite break for him.
But John Andretti, if he just stayed out a few more laps, would have been able to catch the caution flag and put a lot of cars a lap down. Now he himself is a lap down. There we see Mike Wallace and the Heilig-Myers car trying to get going. And I want to say right now that yesterday was Junie Donlevy's 71st birthday, the owner of that car.
Yep.
And Mike's daughter, Lindsay, will be 10 tomorrow. A lot of birthdays going on in that 90 car.
And while we're saying hi to people, Frances Holmes is watching from her hospital bed back in Indianapolis. Chevy Furlan, our pit producer's grandmother, who came through her surgery well. We wish you the best. Get out of there and get back home. Now, Earnhardt and Gordon both come down pit road, along with several others. Mark Martin, Rusty Wallace coming down also. And John is in Kyle Petty's pit.
Kyle Petty looks exhausted as he leans his head back. Barry Johnson, cleaning the windshield, handed him a cold drink. Kyle sipping it through underneath that full-face helmet. He drank down that entire bottle, about 20 ounces of fluid.
Go ahead.
Very, very quick. Jeff Gordon in and out 16.8 seconds, 19.8 for Kyle, 17.6 for Dale Earnhardt. For Kyle Petty, the bad news is not a single driver has fallen out of the race. Now, David Green is here. He's standing by in case Bobby Labonte needs relief. So they don't want to give that up because Bobby Labonte, even though his left shoulder has been feeling much better, there's still somewhat of a burning sensation there, he told me. And so they don't want to take a chance that Bobby might need a relief driver later.
There's the car that caused the caution, the Heilig-Myers car driven by Mike Wallace. Damage in the left rear. Here's a replay of what happened as he comes in. This is our robotic camera in turn 3. Just got a little out of...
Yep, looked like he got up just a little bit high in that groove. Could have had a tire going down or something of that nature. But anyway, she spun around and back in the wall.
Sterling Marlin's perspective.
Well, you can see Mike was already up there loose.
Get up there in those marbles and the traction is pretty bad.
Yep, he was looked like attempting to go on the outside of Rick Mast going into the turn, and she just went out from under him.
Now just listen as he goes in this time. Sound didn't work too good, but you can see what happened. They were sitting working on the left rear of the car. The crew's working away.
Yep. Making sure all the sheet metal is away from the other 3 tires as they work on the left rear.
Not a very good birthday present, huh, Junie?
That's too bad.
Now the sledgehammers come out. So under our third caution of the day, after 230 of 400 laps, is Dale Earnhardt leading the First Union 400. We have run a lap and a half under green with Dale Earnhardt still out front. Might mention that Kyle Petty came in and got some more ice and fluid to try to feel a little bit better. Kyle is ailing out there on the racetrack.
And there's nobody to relieve him. Tough position to be in. John Andretti did not pit. He got back in the lead lap when the leaders went in, but immediately Earnhardt passed him, so John Andretti is a lap down. He's being shown in 12th place, 11 cars on the lead lap now.
Here is the Budweiser race recap. Dale Earnhardt had led 99 of the first 232 laps, 13 lead changes, 3 cautions for a total of 14 laps, and the average speed of the race, 99.670, and the event record for this race is, that is the event record if we keep at that pace. The drivers that have led a lap and picked up bonus points, Earnhardt, Gordon, Wallace, Andretti, and Brett Bodine. Mark Martin also has led 2 laps of this race, and we don't have a thing to show you on the out-of-race board because everybody's still out there, or at least nobody is officially out of the race.
That's amazing. Dave Marcus is 60 laps down, and Dick Crickle is 27 laps down, so they're still out there running.
Steve Grissom in car number 29 is running in 4th position. That's Rusty behind him in 5th, but Steve Grissom has had a very impressive run here today. He started 15th at lap 173. He was 10th, dropped to 20th, and from 205 to 236 moved to 4th place.
And he did that by making an early pit stop. Now, not taking anything away from the way he's run, because he has run good, but good strategy. He came in, made an early pit stop about 15 laps before the leaders did, so he got a lot of good lap time out there. In fact, he had gone a lap down right before he came in, and then after they did it, he was up there in 3rd place. And made a good pit stop here, came out in 4th place.
Boy, Kyle would sure like to have some relief, but there's no one available.
No, the 90 car has gone to the garage area, but you know that they're going to work on that car and try to get it back in the race.
Now Rusty has passed Steve Grissom to pick up the 4th spot.
And Brett Bodine is trying his best to get by Grissom. He's alongside.
That's 4th, 5th, and 6th right here. Brett to 5th.
Dale Jarrett is now running 6th. 7th.
I think that's 7th, yeah. Steve Grissom has dropped back to 6th now.
There we see Dale Jarrett, the 28 car.
Having a tough time getting around John Andretti.
As Ned said, Andretti did not stop on those tires. On fresh tires, he had 4 or 5 laps on those tires.
Yeah, he only had just a few laps before that caution came out. So.
Closely pursued by Jeff Gordon, and Mark Martin is just 3-4 car lengths behind them.
That's 157 laps to go, so these guys, some of them may be thinking about 2 more stops, 1 more stop. Interesting to see what the strategy might be. It looks like these guys are running hard enough that they plan on stopping twice more.
Dale Earnhardt has 5 top 4 finishes in the first 6 races of 1995. He leads this one. He leads the points by 17 over Marlin, but Jeff Gordon is trying to wrestle the lead away from Dale.
Can't make it. Earnhardt able to get the jump off the 2nd corner.
Another Napa Field summary for you. Cars on the lead lap.
I guess it sounds like it looks like the Ray Evernham called Jeff and said, look, take it easy on those tires. And maybe now they've decided they'll try to stop 1 more time. Interesting to see how this is going to play out. Should there not be another caution flag between now and the end of the race?
Back here a little bit and show you some racing going on. The 28 and the 4. That's Jarrett and Marlin are 7th and 8th.
And Dale Jarrett started, what, 33rd, Ned?
Yeah.
He had a great run today.
Yeah, he can race well. He just get where he can qualify that thing.
Jeff Gordon once again taking a look. Got a better run this time.
Go into the lead again. Jeff Gordon back on top. A reminder that he and other members of the Hendrick Racing team will be on Shop Talk coming up at the conclusion of our telecast here at North Wilkesboro. We're riding with Mark Martin, and he's third. The top two are just in front, Earnhardt and Gordon.
I'm sure they're all trying to figure out how do we need to play this. Do we need to stop once? Do we need to stop twice?
And Gordon has not been able to go quite as far as Earnhardt or Martin in the past. The tires seem to give up a little bit quicker.
Martin, it's Rusty Wallace running fourth, and Brett Bodine is in fifth position after 253 laps. And here comes 6 through 10. Back in a moment. ESPN Speed World coverage of the First Union 400 is being brought to you by Firestone, America's tire since 1900. By AC Delco Automotive Parts. AC Delco, it's like buying time. And by Smooth Bush Beer and Easy Drinking Bush Light. Bush, the official beer of NASCAR. Overhead, North Wilkesboro, North Carolina Speedway. Hovering in the crystal clear blue sky, the Family Channel blimp. And they are providing these shots from overhead for us today. Talk about Firestone sponsoring our telecast of Winston Cup today. Well, Firestone, of course, is back at IndyCar racing, and you can see the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach IndyCar race at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, about an hour and 16 minutes from right now on ABC. There are the top 5 qualifiers. Newman Haas team of Andretti and Tracy have the first and second positions. Gilles Defer in third. Defending series champion Allen is junior fourth, and Mauricio Gugelman will line up fifth for today's IndyCar race.
Mark Martin trying to catch Dale Earnhardt. It's about like it was when we left the commercial break.
See the leader out there in front of him. That's Jeff Gordon with that red, bright, day-glow rear section of the car.
That rainbow-looking effect of DuPont.
Brett Bodine and Steve Grissom, 5th and 6th. Brett Bodine's last win, only win in NASCAR Winston Cup racing, came here in North Wilkesboro. At this race in 1990, 146 races ago.
Greg Sachs moves over, let these fast cars go by.
Brett really looked forward to this race. He's had a lot of success here, not only winning his only race here, he's won a couple of races here. And, of course, their sponsor, Lowe's Company, their headquarters are here in North Wilkesboro, about 5 miles from the Speedway here. Junior Johnson shop just down the road here, 7 or 8 miles. So.
Definitely a homecoming. Yeah. Right? Let's find out what the situation is regarding Kyle Petty. He's still in 12th position. We'll see this possible change of position here. Yep.
Or fifth.
Yep. Steve Grissom goes to 5th place, dropping Brett back to 6th. Now, what's the situation with Kyle Petty, John?
Kyle, of course, still not feeling well. So Mike Wallace, who was involved in that wreck that brought out the last caution, they're working on the Highland Myers Ford Thunderbird in the garage area. Mike is standing by. I think the plan right now is if when they can get a caution, or Kyle will drive as far as he can, then Mike will get in that car. They're still continuing to work on Mike Wallace's Thunderbird. If they get that fixed, then Kyle would go back out to finish the race in that car. So a little bit of switch here. Mike Wallace driving the Ford, ready to substitute for the Pontiac driver Kyle Petty.
You know, from a size standpoint, that'll work well.
Good job, Kyle.
Yep.
Barry Dodson tries to keep Kyle pumped up, keep him going.
He's still on the lead lap in 12th.
That's exactly what that was, Ned. Barry trying to keep him going. Right behind Rick Mast.
Now, he's only about 3 seconds in front of Jeff Gordon, who is leading the race.
33 there.
I'm sorry, that was Robert Presley that I saw, not Rick Mast. They share the same sponsor, but...
One Ford, one Chevrolet. There's the Chevrolet. That's Robert Presley, starting at 33. One by Jimmy Spencer. Spencer is in 27th position, being shown 3 laps down.
Electronics in Kyle's car.
There.
You know, we tried an experiment at Darlington where we had a lot of in-cars, and we had a regular coverage on ESPN1 and in-car coverage on the Deuce. It went over very, very well. A lot of favorable comments. So we're going to do it again at Daytona on July 4th weekend.
During the Pepsi 400. That ought to be interesting. Those cars side by side, about 20 deep, with those in-car cameras, probably 6 or 7 cameras. And Earnhardt trying to take the lead from the 24 car.
But he's bottled up behind the slower car of Randy LaJoie. Jerry has more on Jeff Gordon.
And just a moment ago, Ray Evernham told Jeff Gordon, he said, if the green car gets up there and he pushes you hard, let him go. Don't burn up the tire. Because they've already learned they cannot save the tires of the 24 car. We saw last time I told you he was going to pit on lap 225. They still had to come in 10 laps early because the tires went away. Now the 24 car will have to pit twice more, according to Ray Evernham, around lap 302, and possibly again with some 20 laps to go. The most they have gone on the green today is 78 laps on the right rear tire. Bob?
So we may expect it in about 24-5 laps. If that's the case, this thing is going to play down to who has the best strategy, isn't it?
It really is. And Earnhardt has been able to go a little bit longer than some of these other guys. He might make it on one more stop. And if the cautions fall right, or if there is no caution flag, boy, that could really be great.
Yeah, it sure could. And Mark Martin has been going about the same distance as Earnhardt, and he's just sitting right there on Earnhardt's bumper. Biding his time, it looks like. Maybe he's doing all they can do, but he's staying with him nevertheless.
And once again, we talked about at the top of the show, this long pit road. The fact that they extended the pit road, it takes so long to get around pit road. That's why it's such, when you stop twice, it's such a penalty, because that long pit road, it's 30 seconds down pit road and another 20 seconds for the stop, almost 50 seconds.
There is Kyle, and he's not too far from being lapped. About a full straightaway.
Kyle's in heavy traffic. Traffic is going to be tough with him not feeling good for him to get around. And of course, the 24 car has the advantage of getting the passing flag up on the cars that they're coming up to left.
We see there's some tires there that Heilig Myers off the 90 car going over to Rusty's car.
And there is Mike Wallace, who is standing by for Kyle Petty to possibly get in there and do some relief driving.
You know, Goodyear has the tires, but it's easier to get tires that's already mounted than tires that they've got to go get mounted by Goodyear. You see, Kyle has not been able to get by Robert Presley in the Stoll car. He's still up in front of him.
85, good lap.
20.85 is the lap time. Earnhardt's running about 20.60 to 65 for he and Jeff Gordon.
We'll see how long Kyle can stay in the car despite the fact that he's not feeling well. Mike Wallace standing by for relief. It's Gordon, Earnhardt, Mark Martin, Rusty Wallace, and Steve Grissom.
Come on.
The top 5.
Good job.
The battle up front continues. They put a lap on Kyle Petty, but Dale Earnhardt is trying to take the lead away from Jeff Gordon, and hanging in there in 3rd position is Mark Martin.
They were pretty excited in that last lap when they got 3 abreast down the front straightaway. That'd be on my feet. Now Earnhardt's going to try it on the inside. Tries to get alongside Jeff Gordon. He does it.
Remember what Evernham told Jeff as the 3 car comes up to challenge, let him go. Will he do it? Looks like he will. Yep. Earnhardt goes back to the lead.
I think that Jeff Gordon trusts Ray Evernham 100%, totally. What he tells him to do, he does it.
Yep. And I agree with him. He should.
Yeah. Jeff led 95 laps, has led 95 laps in this race. Now we'll show you a Napa Field summary.
As you can see, there are only 10 cars on the lead lap now. 11 cars, I beg your pardon.
Darrell Waltrip got himself back in the lead lap. How about that?
Yep.
John Andretti has fallen 2 laps down now in 18th. That occurred while we were away commercial.
Actually, Darrell never did go a lap down, did he?
Oh, he did? Oh,
no, they caught him, but never did get around him.
That's right. Mike Wallace, the only car out of the race. The tire situation continues to be a real problem here. Here's John Kernan with a report.
Todd Bodine running in about 28th place, 3 laps down. This is crew chief Troy Selberg. Troy, you only have 2 new tires left. What's up with that?
Well, apparently, the story that I get, Goodyear didn't bring enough tires with them here to the racetrack. They were kind of counting on some cars falling out of here, but at North Wilkesboro, the attrition rate hasn't been very good. You know, a lot of cars still in the race. Factory Storage Ford Thunderbirds eating tires as fast as we can put them on there. So we're just going to have to do the best we can with what we've got and try to finish this race.
They will try to finish the race. As I was walking up to this pit, Ward Burton, Jeff Burton, the 2 Burton brothers from South Boston, Virginia in this race. Ward's been having some problems. Jeff still running okay. Jeff's team came up, got some tires from Ward's team.
And we saw a change for 8th position while you were giving us the report, John. That was Rick Mast that moved to the inside and put Sterling Marlin back to 9th. Oh, he's a little swirly coming off the corner.
Oh, just a little sideways, that's all.
No problem.
Nothing unusual here at North Wilkesboro.
John Kernan has more on Rick Mast.
Well, just a few moments ago, before checking out the Todd Bodine story, I went down to Rick Mast pit and talked to his car owner, Richard Jackson. He says they're kind of taking it easy right now. They are going to try to make it on one more stop as Gordon is being passed by Mark Martin. That's for 2nd place.
Yep, so now it's Earnhardt, Martin, and Gordon.
But I'm not so concerned about the fact that Mark Martin passed him. They've lost so much distance to Earnhardt. It's like Jeff Gordon all of a sudden developed a problem or something.
Well, I think his tires are just, as we've said several times, that they're going away quicker than Earnhardt's are, and I think that's what we're seeing happen right now. Darrell Walter did go a lap down, and immediately he came into the pits. Darrell was in the pits in the Western Auto Chevrolet. Let's go back to the pits, and Jerry Punch more on Jeff Gordon.
I told you, remember, that Jeff Gordon could only go around 78 laps on the green and the tires went completely away. Well, at lap 300, he will have run 75 laps under green, and therefore his tires are gone. Did you see Ray and Evernham and company sitting there? They would like to be able to keep him out there until about lap 304, 305, maybe even closer to 310, or they would love to see the yellow flag come out. But right now, they know their tires are gone, Bob.
Well, they have completed now 300 laps. And it is a 2.1 second lead now that Earnhardt enjoys over Mark Martin. He's almost a little more than 10 seconds ahead of 5th place Steve Grissom. Dale Jarrett has always been among the first to come in, and he's in right now.
He was running in 7th place. They knew they were going to have to make 2 pit stops, so they thought they'd come on in early and try to gain some track position out there. A little trouble there on the left side.
Yeah, they're having trouble back in the left rear.
Yeah, that's a long pit stop. They were good on the right side, but the left side is a definite problem. Maybe an air range problem. Maybe they don't even have the tire off yet.
They just now got the tire off.
Wow, this is a long pit stop. Jerry Punch is down for Brett Bodine.
And scheduled stop for the Lowe's Home Improvement Ford Thunderbird. Brett returning to the scene of his only Winston Cup win, coming here back in 1990. Good pit stop, good change of tires on the right side. They will add a round of fight in the car. The car been a little bit loose. They put left side tires on, get it full of fuel, and he is down and away as he will go side by side with Dale Jarrett out of short turn 1.
Long pit stop for Dale Jarrett. Good stop for Brett Bodine and team.
I think it was a lap difference in them. They were running together on the racetrack before they made a pit stop. Brett was right in front of Dale Jarrett, and now he's just right behind him. And in fact, Jarrett is being shown 3 laps down now in 17th position. He was running 7th in the lead lap before that pit stop.
Dale Earnhardt enjoying a rather comfortable lead at the moment. He's led 132 of these 303 laps that we have completed. And there goes John Andretti to get 1 of his laps back. Rick Mast came in. John, how come?
Well, the best laid plans of mice and men sometimes go awry. You've all heard that saying. Just checked in. Rick came in, 4 tires, Their plan to go with just one more stop went down the tubes because the last 5 or 6 laps, the lap times for the Skoal Ford Thunderbird had fallen way off, so they will have to make another stop. Now we're waiting. Steve Grissom should be on pit road in just a short time.
I tell you what, Earnhardt, Ned, is just driving away from Mark Martin.
Yeah, his car seems to be the best on old tires, best of any of them.
See, there's Mark Martin just now coming to the picture. Rick Matt. And that Skoal car, just talking K4 tires, blows by. Mark Martin.
Pit stops very shortly by Earnhardt, Martin, and Gordon, perhaps within the next 3-4 laps.
And we talked about the tires on Jeff Gordon's car going away. Now Mark Martin has fallen back to Jeff Gordon, so it looks like his tires are just about gone.
Yep. 91 to go. They'll still have to make another pit stop, I believe. Sterling Marlin coming into the pits now. Sterling is running in 7th place in the last car on the lead lap.
Kodak Film Chevrolet to a stop. Marlin second in points going into this race. Just 17 behind.
As we watch this, I'll tell you that Jeff Gordon, there he is, has passed Mark Martin to take over the second spot.
Rusty Wallace is coming in as Marlin pulls out.
Rusty was running in 4th position.
You wonder how they get 35 miles an hour. See the white lines? NASCAR times the pace car at 35 miles an hour between those two lines with a stopwatch. And these cars have to do exactly the same thing. Jerry Punch?
We might be seeing the last pit stop of the day for Rusty Wallace and possibly the 2 car. You see the right side tires now go on and the left side going on. We are being told that possibly Wallace, Mark Martin, and Earnhardt might make their final stop. Let's go to the secret for pit verdict. Steve Grissom and Buddy Barrett, his crew chief, wanted to stay out about 5 more laps, but no, they had to duck in. 87 laps to go. This could be their final pit stop. Let's go down to Jerry Punch as Grissom heads down pit road. Jerry. It's going to be a stretch for Jeff Gordon if he can possibly make it the rest of the way on that pit stop. Gordon pitting as the car number 3 of Dale Earnhardt will also be coming down pit road as Ray Evernham and crew continue their work on the DuPont Chevrolet. And now Earnhardt brings his Goodrich Chevrolet in. As Gordon leaves, Earnhardt gets right side tires, and they will go on the left side now. David Smith, left side jacket on cleaning the windshield. And I don't believe they're going to try to bring Earnhardt back in. This will probably be his final pit stop, barring a caution flight. Let's go to John Kerner. Chad Musgrave is in. It'll be a 4-tire change. They also take a roundabout out of to loosen that car up just a little bit. This likely could be Musgrave's last stop. He stayed out just a little bit longer. Tommy Hamilton also comes in. There goes Musgrave. Hamilton, as you heard the spotter telling you, go, go, go. Hamilton will also likewise be a 4-tire change. The crew going to work on the right side. The can of gasoline going in. Jack coming around to the left side. 1, 2 pumps. Left side's going on. Blood guts being tightened. Bobby Hamilton sitting, waiting. Jack is dropped. He's down and away.
Meanwhile, this is Ted Musgrave from inside the Family Channel Ford as he's back on the racetrack with his 4-tire.
will be the leader when everybody finishes.
And he said that 3 will be the leader when everyone finishing with a pit stop.
Kyle was, now Earnhardt goes to the lead once again. Kyle is off sequence with pit stops, but Earnhardt has passed him on the track, and Earnhardt goes back into the lead now with about 83 laps to go.
Well, I tell you what, if he goes the rest of the way, that 3 car is going to be slipping and sliding when this race is over.
Trying to put a lap on Bobby Hamilton, put him 2 laps down. Just ahead is Derek Cope in the 12 car. He is in 30th position, 4 laps down. Back with more from North Wilkesboro in a moment.
Following today's First Union 400 from North Wilkesboro, you'll meet the drivers for Hendrick Motorsports. Ken Schrader, Terry Labonte, and Jeff Gordon will be our guests here on Shop Talk. You'll have an opportunity to purchase some exclusive new merchandise, so join us after the race today on Shop Talk.
That will be at 4 o'clock Eastern Time in less than 1 hour from now. When Dale Earnhardt went into the lead and passed Kyle Petty a while ago, we had our 19th lead change. The record is 20 in 1979, and now Rusty Wallace goes inside of Steve Grissom and picks up 6th.
The only car, we have 10 cars on the lead lap right now. The only car that has not made a pit stop of the lead lap cars is Kyle Petty. He's being shown in the 10th position.
There's Kyle Petty from inside his car, actually on the roof of his car.
Well, he's about to go a lap down. Dale Earnhardt coming up right behind him.
Here he comes, Kyle. He's coming on your outside. Let's pit this time.
Okay, so Kyle will be coming in. He goes a lap down. Earnhardt goes around it.
Now we'll watch Kyle Petty as he heads down pit road. Got to slow to this first white line.
Okay, we're ready. Here comes, boys. Here's some ice and give me some ice water.
Ice water. Kyle Petty not feeling well, dehydrated there. That watered the ice and the drink. It won't work. It won't work. Oh, no.
Boy, when things go wrong, they go wrong, don't they?
Now he's finally getting a drink.
Okay, clear to go.
The towel that they handed Kyle was full of ice, and you simply dumped it on his lap, trying to cool his body down.
Let's get up to 85 here today in North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, there's the leader right there.
The leader is. There he goes.
70.
Dale Earnhardt, look at this. Before he made the pit stop and got fresh tires, 104 after 110. More than 6 miles an hour faster on the fresh tires.
And Kyle Petty was just black flagged by the NASCAR officials.
I think he went down pit road too fast. We'll see if that is the penalty, but he really took off down pit road. It looked like I didn't have a stopwatch on him, but I thought that looks a little bit faster than usual. That might not be the situation, but I bet that's what it is.
He's coming to the attention of the crew.
It'll be a stop-and-go penalty if that is the case.
Okay.
Okay, that's what it was.
Yep.
Now, easy, Kyle. Don't overdo it this time.
Now he's bringing the accelerator to go as fast as possible.
That cost him,
Clear behind the 9.
cost him another lap to come in and do that.
He's gone down to 21st spot. Back up front, meanwhile, with his Dale Earnhardt. Continuing to lap traffic. There he is beside Ken Schrader and behind Bill Elliott.
The 8 car of Jeff Burton was very slow off of turn 2. He got up very high there. That might have been the reason he took slow down, but he's still going very slow.
Here's a battle for position. Mark Martin goes to 3rd, putting Rick Mast back to 4th. And Jeff Gordon is now in 2nd position.
Rick Mast stopped just a little bit earlier than these fellows. And they picked up the speed with the fresher tires. Oh, some contact between Kyle Petty and John Andretti as Andretti tried to get by Kyle. Well, these body men love these last 3 weeks. They're all into the rest of here.
And we got Martinsville to go.
Yeah.
Here's a replay of what happened up there in 3, just ahead of Jeff Gordon.
Jeff Kyle down on the inside makes a little contact with the 37 car of John Andretti and sends Andretti high, but he keeps her under control and keeps going. Now he's up beside him again.
We'll show you where John is running here on our Napa Field summary.
There's Earnhardt right behind Ken Schrader. Trying to put Schrader the second lap down. Schrader in 14th spot, 1 lap down. You always read what Schrader's mind right now is. Come on, Earnhardt, cut me some slack. There's the race for position.
Yep, sure is. Rusty Wallace trying to take over 5th from Brett Bodine, and he does it.
And Mark Martin has just about caught
Jeff Gordon.
Jeff Gordon.
For second. Pretty comfortable lead still for Dale Earnhardt. Back of him, good battle between Jeff Gordon and Mark Martin for second. Mast is 4th, Wallace 5th. Well, it's even up front in the top 10. We have 5 Chevys and 5 Fords, 11 through 20, 5 and 4 Advantage Chevrolet, 21 through 31 to 6 Advantage Ford, and then 31 through 36 2 Chevys and 3 Fords and 1 Pontiac. But the leader is Dale Earnhardt in a Chevy.
Darrell Waltrip, the 17th Chevrolet, goes a lap down to our leader, Dale Earnhardt. Now Earnhardt is finally alongside of Schrader, trying to put Schrader that second lap down.
Boy, it's taken him a long time to do it, and he still hasn't.
Schrader is 14th.
And with Waltrip going a lap down, we now have 8 cars that are on the lead lap. 6.7-second interval between Earnhardt and Gordon, first and second. That's pretty hefty lead on this track.
Yes, it is. We'll try to find Jeff Gordon. You'll see just how much 6.7 seconds is. There he is. And the interval between second and third is 3 car lengths.
It's not very much. Yeah.
This is on top of Mark Martin's Valvoline Ford.
Coming up on 50 laps to go.
Randy LaJoy in the 22 car.
Little contact there between Gordon and LaJoy. And Martin looking inside. Yes. But the slower car of Bill Elliott is up ahead, so they'll have to get the line. Jerry, what's the update on Bill Elliott's crew chief?
Well, thanks to Chief Parsons, their PR person. I just got a note a moment ago that Tony Gibson has been taken to Wilkes Regional Medical Center and admitted with an as yet undetermined illness. He was complaining of severe abdominal pain this morning. They took him out of here over to Wilkes General Hospital, and he has been admitted there and is resting comfortably, we are told right now. Cindy Elliott, Bill's wife, accompanied Tony to the hospital. We will pass along any more information we might have prior to going off the air today.
I hear Parsons mentioned as a PR person there for Bill.
That's my youngest boy.
Sure is. He does a great job.
Meanwhile, Mark Martin still trying to catch Jeff Gordon.
John Andretti makes a pit stop. He was 2 laps down in 17th before coming in. He has had his ups and downs here today, and one time he led this race and was looking real good, and if he had waited just a few more laps to make his second pit stop, he might have been in real good shape.
Boy, the timing on these pit stops. There we see him coming down pit road slowly, 35 miles an hour.
We're talking about going slow. Kyle Petty has really looked out on the racetrack.
Yep, there you saw Jeff go around and even check and Martin to pass Kyle.
And now you see Jeff Gordon has been able to put a little distance on Mark Martin. As a matter of fact, he has 2 cars. Oh, we see the 41 car of Ricky Craven smoking.
Craven way up high on the racetrack in turns 1 and 2 to allow everybody to go underneath. Here's Brett Bodine coming in for his final pit stop of the race. He drops from 7th position.
Dale Jarrett had just made a pit stop.
And these guys are stopping short, trying to take advantage of new tires. But Ned, pit road being so long, I'm not sure it's a good strategy.
Well, I don't know. If it continues to go green, then it can work out okay if others have to stop. But if those that don't have to stop, well, it's not going to work for them.
That's a 19-second pit stop for Brett Bodine, and he's back out there. Here's Earnhardt now with an 8.6-second advantage on Jeff Gordon. Look at this. He's stretching it out.
It's the last time we saw that was 6.7 or something, wasn't it?
Yep.
And Kyle Petty is very, very slow on the inside.
I think Kyle's just riding it out. He just feels so bad that he's just trying to stay out of everybody's way.
Dropped all the way back to 29.
There was here a second place car, Jeff Gordon, who DuPont Automotive finishes. The rainbow-looking car. Our leader, Dale Earnhardt, the Goodrich Chevrolet.
With 360 laps completed, we're less than 40 from the checkered flag. Will Earnhardt win his first of the year? We'll be right back. Family Channel Blimp has been on its national tour since September of 1992 at events like this. Our Winston Cup race here this afternoon, they're providing the overhead shots for us today. Rick Mast, running in the top 10, has come in for his final pit stop. Now he moves back out onto the racetrack.
Here we see Earnhardt trying to get by Sterling Marlin. Meanwhile, Mark Martin trying to take over that second spot. Alongside Jeff Gordon coming off the second corner.
They go down into the corner side by side.
But they're coming up on Bobby Hamilton. Hamilton staying low to let the leaders by on the outside, and that's going to work to Gordon's advantage.
And Dale Earnhardt was able to get by the 4-car Sterling Marlin, putting him a lap down.
So now there'll be just 5 cars in the lead lap. Sterling Marlin is running 6th.
And in 5th position is Steve Grissom. His best career finish is 6th twice, so if he hangs on to that 5th place, Steve Grissom will have his best career finish in NASCAR Winston Cup racing. Now down into turn 1, Mark Martin staying right alongside Bobby Hamilton. Actually, Bobby staying alongside Mark. And now Martin makes the clean pass.
But meanwhile, Jeff Gordon's been able to pull away by 5 or 6 car lengths from Mark Martin.
And we have 30 laps to go.
So who will have to stop and who won't? Well, I don't know.
Well, America's Cup 95 coverage continues tomorrow with both Challenger and Defender final race from the waters off of San Diego. ESPN's award-winning coverage tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern Time here on ESPN. It is warm in San Diego. It is unseasonably warm here in North Wilkesboro. Temperature near 85 degrees, and it's taking its toll on drivers.
Yes, it is. And I started to say, and I forgot somewhere along the way, that this is by far the warmest day we've had in 1995.
So they really haven't had an opportunity to condition themselves under race conditions on a hot day.
You really wouldn't think it would be this hot in April.
Not in North Wilkesboro, in the mountains here.
Yeah, mid-80s.
Well, we can see that only 5 cars in the lead lap, just 2 cars, 1 lap down.
Now, most of these cars back through there have made what should be their last pit stop.
Jeff Gordon almost a half straightaway behind Dale Earnhardt. Now, if these guys are going to stop here, Mark Martin, I would think that they should be stopping pretty soon.
Yep,
There's no point waiting on Earnhardt to stop.
No.
John Kernan has an update on the Todd Bodine story that he told us about earlier.
Well, remember his crew chief, Troy Selberg, what he said, they only had those 2 tires. Just a few moments ago, saw a crew member 4 brand new Goodyear Eagle tires headed up to Todd Bodine's pit. So they've got 4 new tires. Now let's go to Dr. Jerry Punch.
Oh, you know, we mentioned that Kyle Petty was struggling today in the car number 42. His teammate isn't having much better luck. Greg Sachs has gone out of the car number 40 due to total exhaustion. He has been overcome with fumes. They have taken Sachs to the infield care center. Actually, he climbed out of the car and laid on the ground and decided to go ahead and push the car to the garage area. They have since taken Sachs to the infield care center. We have been told he is awake and alert, but is absolutely overcome with fumes and exhausted, Bob.
Yeah, it's, as I said, it's taken toll on drivers here this afternoon, this hot weather that we're having. Well, there was Earnhardt, and now let's see where... There goes Gordon.
And we see Mark Martin. Our 4th place car is Rusty Wallace. And he's closely followed by Steve Grissom, our 5th place car.
And Dale Earnhardt is Western Speedway behind him. With a lap on him.
By the way, the 3-car Earnhardt has led the most laps here today, so those 5 additional bonus points go to Earnhardt.
2 laps to go. Then if Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon are going to have to stop, they're going to stop pretty soon.
Yep. And it's here to go. You're right.
Rusty's been pretty impressive on this short track. 9 wins in the last 21 races, and in the top 5 here this afternoon with 20 laps to go at North Wilkesboro. At North Wilkesboro, Dale Earnhardt has the lead of the race, and there are less than 14 laps to go. No sign that he'll be coming in for a pit stop, but Kyle Petty has given it up for the day.
The crewman has climbed in the right side of the car. They're just, I mean, Kyle simply cannot take care of himself. He's so exhausted. They're trying to take his helmet off, put some ice, and as a matter of fact, if he sits there, he can't finish any lower than he is right now.
So they don't need to take the car back out there. No reason, because he's far enough ahead of the next place car. He's in 31st place. He's far enough ahead of the next place car that nobody can. I mean, he can't pass anybody else, and he can't pass him.
So Greg Sachs has been taken in for some observation because of exhaustion, and Kyle Petty suffering from the same thing. Now 11 laps to go for Dale Earnhardt, and he isn't being caught. Nobody's coming up on him, so there's no reason to make a pit stop because everybody's about in the same shape as far as tires are concerned. There is the 2nd place Jeff Gordon. Right behind him is 3rd place Mark Martin. Martin now coming up to the inside of Jeff Gordon.
You know, these fellas are going to run 86 laps on the set of tires. You know, that's a lot of laps for tires they said would not last much more than 70, 75 laps. And Mark is trying to have to race Jeff Gordon with these tires. As we see Dale Jarrett go by with the fresher tires on the 28 car.
The short track season will end 2 weeks from today at Martinsville, Virginia. The first half of the short track season will be there with live coverage of that race also. Looking at the battle for 2nd place, Gordon and Martin.
Well, Martin's tires, I believe, are just rigged. I think both of them are gone, but I believe Martin's gone even worse maybe than Gordon's.
These fellas almost like driving on dirt tracks, trying to use the throttle to keep the car going straight. Can't jump on the throttle too quick. If they do, the car will just basically spin out.
Well, Rick Mast almost in trouble there.
Darrell Walton about to move into 10th place, passing Kenny Schrader.
Mast, by the way, is a lap down in 8th position. He was on the lead lap, but has lost a lap due to a pit stop.
Mast looks like he's trying to catch somebody, but I'm not sure who it is. Poor position.
Ted Musgrave is the next car up in front of him, where
Musgrave's coming on 2 and Greg Mast is going in 1, so hard to imagine being able to catch him in 6 laps.
Yeah, got a long way to go, that's for sure.
run, though, today.
Had a terrific run. There he is, ring mask. When I asked him what he was doing for his chassis, he said, we have no idea. We just put the same stuff we had last year and hope for the best. Worked out pretty well. Meanwhile, Dale Earnhardt just 3.5 laps to go. There we see Earnhardt behind Jimmy Spencer. Oh, Spencer almost loses right in front of the leader. Look at me something.
He and Robert Presley were testing some space out there on the racetrack.
Presley is in 18th position, 3 laps down. Spencer's in 27th, 6 laps down.
Running back in 4th and 5th, the 2 and the 29. Rusty in 4th and Steve Grissom in 5th position is en route to his best career finish. He is the last car on the lead lap. Here comes Dale Earnhardt off corner number 4, looking for the white flag. 1 more lap to go in the first Union 400, and Dale Earnhardt will rack up his first victory of 1995 and extend his points lead over Sterling Marlin, who is running in 7th position, a lap down. Earnhardt now off of corner number 3, corner number 4, and Dale Earnhardt has won his first of 1995, extending his streak of winning at least 1 race every year over the last 14 years. The streak starting in 1982. Here's John Kerner with Andy.
High fives, handshakes all around. Andy Petrie getting a hug from Patrice. Andy, first win for you guys this year. Congratulations. You did it in pretty convincing fashion.
Yeah, thanks a lot. You know, we've had a good car all year. We had a little problem last week. We had a good car and made a nice comeback today. I'm real happy with it. I want to thank all the guys back at the shop. They give us a good car to come up here with, and don't want to forget them. Thanks to the engine guys, Penny Clinton, all his guys doing a great job back there this year, and I want to congratulate them too.
What about the tires? I mean, what was it, like 86, 87 laps to finish? How concerned were you?
Well, I was pretty concerned, you know, that the numbers just didn't add up to be able to make 2 pit stops. So I knew guys would try it, and it'd be hard to stay out of their way on new tires, but Dale did a good job, and Spotter Craig did a good job of keeping them out of our way.
Well, congratulations, first win of this year. I know it's a long run up there to victory lane.
Thanks, Andy.
Dale Earnhardt will soon be in victory lane, and when he arrives there and gets the helmet off, we'll be talking with him when we come back to the First Union 400. Picking up his 64th career win here today and his 25th on a short track, Dale Earnhardt. In victory lane for the very first time in 1995. Earnhardt being congratulated by the people in victory lane. He'll be coming out of the car momentarily, and then the stands will erupt.
He prides himself on not taking the steering wheel off to get out of the car. That shows how slim and trim he is and how fit. Let's see if he's still doing it. Proud of him.
Dale Earnhardt. Here's Dr. Jerry Punch.
He gets a big hug from Teresa and Dale. Boy, you're still skinny enough to get out there in that car without taking the steering wheel off, but congratulations on a great run.
Well, I'll tell you, after watching that truck race last night, watching the Hornaday race, got me pumped up. So we had to go out there and race them hard. Tires was wearing a bit, but we had, I think, a good car, a good setup for the tires, and everything worked great. So I think, you know, Good Ranch and Richard Childers, Spinny, Andy, all the guys at the shop, they did a great job. So finally got to victory lane. We've been close all year long. We finally got to victory lane.
Andy said they were very concerned in the pits about the tires. Hey, we're going to have to go like 85 laps to the checkered flag. Could you feel the car beginning to go away?
Oh, it was definitely racing everybody else. It was a tough one, but you know, I just kept running my groove, my lane, and my pace, and they was pacing me with the leader behind me, let me know where he was at. So we done a good job.
Yeah, this is the 1995 Dale Earnhardt, a slimmer, trimmer version. Last year we saw you with a few extra pounds be exhausted. Today, you look fresh as a daisy.
Last year I think it's in better shape than this year, Jerry. I hadn't been working out. Deshaun hadn't had her working me out like I did last year. I got to get back in shape, though. These young guys are too strong. We got to get back after them.
Anybody too strong for Dale Earnhardt? I don't think so today. He gets his first win in 1995. Hey, in fact, let's go over here and take a look at this right rear tire. That's what everyone was so concerned about, was the right rear tire on this car as we go around here. And there is the left rear tire. And this tire on the right rear had to go 85 laps. And I mean, folks, I'm not sure it would have made it 87 or 88 laps. Take a look. It is worn down, maybe less than a 32nd of tread here on the Goodrich Chevrolet, but hey, he's in victory lane, and that's what counts. Let's go to John Kernan.
Jerry, I'm with the young guy that Earnhardt was probably talking about who's wearing him out, and that would be Jeff Gordon. And Jeff's second place finish, but you said that right rear tire was worn down pretty much.
Yeah, it was real loose at the end. I mean, I was just limping home at the end, and kind of reminded me of Bristol. The track just was wearing them out today, and we were pretty good for about 30 laps. We could stay with them or at least keep them in sight. That last pit stop was a good one, but Earnhardt had a little bit better one, and he got out there, and we just didn't have anything for him. But this is a great run for us. To sit on the pole, run second at North Wilkesboro, that's a dream come true for us.
Yeah, and you've also moved up to third in the points now.
That's great. It's tight back there. This is what we needed. We kept, winning one, then crash or have a problem, and we need to break that string and have two good ones in a row. And, I tell you, this team is just really strong. We've gone through some growing stages early in the season, and now, we're right on track.
All right, that's Jeff Gordon's second place today, Bob.
And it's his first top 5 finish here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. We'll show you the full field results as we get set to take another break. We've still got about 22 or 3 minutes here before we have to leave the air, so we'll be able to bring you a few more driver interviews before we have to sign off and turn you over to Shop Talk at 4 o'clock. So we'll take the break here and be back with more post-race at North Wilkesboro, where Dale Earnhardt has won his first of the year. Back at North Wilkesboro, where Dale Earnhardt has won his 5th race here at this particular oval. He has won this race now on 4 different occasions, 86, 87, 89, and today. Here's Jerry Punch with Mark Martin.
Well, he had a great run today. He finished second, but take a look at this guy now. You talk about physical fitness. This guy's not even perspiring, and that is disgusting down here to so many other drivers who walk by. Mark, congratulations on another great run.
Real proud of this, Valvoline Cummins Ford. Who's really great. They built one of the best runs I've ever had here. The pit stops were real good. Car handled good. We just didn't have anything for those other two guys.
I don't think I saw you make any adjustment on the car today, but the car seemed to get a little bit better as the day wore on.
Yeah, it was too tight to start with, and we made some slight adjustments. We're afraid to do very much to it because it was running pretty good. It's not my strong suit. Anytime I need to hurry up, I have a tendency to just put the gas pedal to the floor. That's what you're supposed to do. You can't do that on a little flat track, and it's very frustrating for me because on a big racetrack, I'll just slam it in the corner harder or whatever and slide through there and speed up. But, the little flat ones, once we get to Richmond, it's better, and then when we get to the flat miles, you can stand on it and go on. And we run this good at Martinsville, I'll be happy. We'll take these and go on. I got to say, it was a real good run for us. We've been strong this year and had some poor finishes because of or not so great of finishes because of problems and mistakes and bad luck, and this is a race where we finished where we ran.
Well, maybe the luck is turning for Martin. The pole last week and a runner-up finish today, or finished third today. Let's check in now with John Kernan, who's standing by with Rusty Wallace.
Good run for Rusty today, a 4th place finish, but was it slipping and sliding there at the end?
It was pretty slippery at the end, no doubt about it. We run a long time on tires. The tires did a great job, no problem, but boy, the racetrack is so old and so slick, and after about 60 laps, you're really fighting it hard, but we had a good job. I mean, the team did a great job today. I'd like to thank my sponsors, Miller and Fleetwood RVs and Mobile and all the guys. They did a great job. Goodyear had good tires, but hey, we're consistent right now. We're gaining points, and that's what we need to do. We lost a lot of points early, and everything's going good right now. This Penske-owned car is doing great.
Now, I understand your brother Mike, after he had his problems, fell out and gave you some tires. Is that a weekly arrangement, a brotherly love thing?
Well, I think if I'm going to need some tires and Mike's out, that'd be the first place I'd go, no doubt about it. I mean, it was a war out there today trying to find tires, and so NASCAR just kept holding tires and rashing. It was really a bad deal because they give them to you so late, you glue the lug nuts up, and the lug nuts would all fall off. And I had some problem with that today. But other than that, it was a smooth day.
Yeah, it was a pretty smooth day. A fourth-place finish for Rusty Wallace, Bob.
And you saw was his third top 5 short track finish of this year, his 9th straight. Let's take a look at the points. Dale Earnhardt now has a 56-point advantage on Sterling Marlin. Jeff Gordon moved up 1 position. Mark Martin lost a position, and Terry Labonte stayed the same. 6 through 10, here's the big mover, or one of the big movers. Rusty Wallace moves up 3 positions to 6th. Musgrave up 1, Jarrett down 1, Grissom up 4 to 9th, and Derek Cope lost 4 positions.
And Steve Grissom has missed a race this year, Bob.
That's right.
And still is now in the top 10 in the point standings. Quite amazing.
And we'll show you 11 through 40 here in the point standings.
Kenny Schrader's in 15th spot. Michael Walter, Brett Bodine, Bobby Labonte, Jeff, and Bill Elliott. These points, now we're getting to the point that it becomes very critical for provisionals. Next week in Martinsville, there'll be 4 provisionals available, and they go to the team that's highest in the point standings.
You can see how close they are back through the line. They're very close, even down through 30th position, Ricky Craven.
And that's why some of the drivers that are not making races right now, it's going to be even tougher for them to make them in the future because they continue to slide backward in the points. And as you indicated, that's what the provisionals are based on.
You know, some people will say that Steve Kinzer has another provisional available.
Hey, look at this.
Hi. Hi there.
Hi.
But he's not high enough in the points to take advantage of that provision.
That is correct, yep. Well, we thank you for being with us, and we'll be back with more in a moment.
Following today's First Union 400 from North Wilkesboro, you'll meet the drivers for Hendrick Motorsports. Ken Schrader, Terry Labonte, and Jeff Gordon will be our guests here on Shop Talk. You'll have an opportunity to purchase some exclusive new merchandise, so join us after the race today on Shop Talk.
That's about 13 minutes from right now. The winner here this afternoon is Dale Earnhardt. The good doctor is with 5th place finisher Steve Grissom.
And Steve back in the garage area continuing to get congratulated by fellow competitors as well as crew members. Steve, outstanding effort today.
Yeah, I tell you what, anytime you can run 400 laps, finish on the lead lap here at Wilkesboro, and moving, crank the car up and driving on the trailer, you've had a pretty good day. And fortunately today we wound up, got the Monte Carlo in the top 5 finish. It's best for myself and this team in Winston Cup.
Big points move from 13th spot to 9th spot. And you even missed a race. I mean, that's incredible. That shows what kind of season you've had thus far.
Yeah, I tell you, we've had an awful good start to our year, and it's not when Buddy come over back at the first of the year and said, hey, we're going out to finish in the top 10, try to do that on a consistent basis, and somewhere around halfway point of the season, start looking at the top 5s. But, you know, we're just trying to get ourselves in position to win. That's our whole deal, and just run to the finish, gain as much experience as we possibly can, and be as consistent as we can.
Folks, remember this name, Steve Grissom, a 6th, 2 7ths, an 11th, and now a 5th thus far in 1995. This kid could be a factor. Let's go over to John Kernan, who's standing by with Ted Musgrave.
Ted Musgrave could also be a factor by the time everything shakes out in the points race. He moved up to 7th in the points with a 6th place finish today, Ted.
You know, that's really a good run for the Family Channel Speedstick car because North Wilkesboro hasn't been one of my better racetracks, and that tops my best finishes. As a matter of fact, both Roush cars finished up in the top 10, so we're pretty happy about that. You know, the points race is awful tough here, and the guys stuck with me today. You know, had a good run.
Now, you said at the beginning of the show if you had a good enough run that you and Benny go out to eat. Is 6th place, is that good enough?
Well, I don't know. I got to calculate how much money I won versus how much Benny can eat, and we'll see. Maybe he better take me out because I didn't win this one today.
Hey!
Thank you, Ted.
Why is he always picking on me?
If it's less than $1,000, I think better go.
You notice something that all the drivers are doing, though, when they finish on Ted Musgrave was the only one who didn't. All the drivers, when they finish the interview, takes a drink.
Yeah.
Because they're just exhausted, dehydrated, and trying to get all that fluid back in their body.
We set a new event speed record here today. The average speed of this 400-lap event was 102.429. ESPN Speed World coverage of the First Union 400 being brought to you by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft, making the world a very cool place. By Valvoline, the #1 choice of America's top mechanics. And by Kellogg's. Kellogg Cornflakes is proud to sponsor NASCAR champion Terry Labonte. We'll take the weekend off next weekend for Easter, but we're with you 2 weeks from today at Martinsville, Virginia for the Haynes 500 NASCAR Winston Cup race. That will be at 3 o'clock Eastern Time from Martinsville 2 weeks from today. Back with more from North Wilkesboro in just a moment. Back at North Wilkesboro, let's go down to Jerry Punch, who's with Brett Bodine.
After starting on the front row, you get your best finish of the year for the Junior Johnson car, a top 10. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. It wasn't pretty, but we'll take it, you know, to have a run finally, the competitive here at home for Lowe's and, of course, Junior, you know, we needed it. And now we can build on it. You know, I wasn't expecting to go from top 20 finishes to a win. But, you know, to finish top 10, it was decent. We led the race a little bit and, you know, just gave the hometown fans something to cheer about. And now we can go to Martinsville. I think we can build on this performance.
Just seeing the smiles on the Lowe's crew behind me and Mike Beam realizes that this is like a win for you. What a difference from where you began the 1995 season.
Well, it really is, Jerry. And, you know, we really needed it. The guys have been working hard, and we weren't getting anything in reward for it. Finally, we got a little bit of something here at home. They get to sleep in their own bed early tonight, and, you know, we got a week off now with the Easter holiday coming up and get ready for Martinsville. A track that, you know, should be good for us also.
A top 10 for Brett Bodine, looking for a top 5, possibly at Martinsville. Let's check in with John Kernan.
Jerry, I think you'd have to look at Rick Mast, too, as one of the guys potentially for a top 5 at Martinsville. Today, Rick, you guys rolled the dice, extra pit stop, still wound up 8th place.
Yeah, we've had so much trouble this year, John. We're going to finish 4th or 5th, you know, and we come down with like 35 laps to go. We decided to come in and get tires. We knew, you know, we'd lose 2 or 3 or 4 spots, and most spots we could lose, but if it worked out right, we could win this race, you know what I mean? So we went ahead and stopped. None of the other lead cars did, you know, and the way it ended up, I ended up losing some spots, but you know, you got to do that sometimes. You know, we're so far back in points. We haven't run good. What's wrong with rolling the dice every now and then?
That's right. You got to roll the dice. Sometimes you come up in 8 today, your best finish of the year, Bob.
All right, Dale Earnhardt, we remind you, has won here at North Wilkesboro. Jeff Gordon second, Mark Martin third. We will be back to wrap things up from North Wilkesboro right after this. There's more racing tonight on The Deuce, the Grand Prix of Argentina Formula One race at 9 o'clock tonight on ESPN2. Now let's take a look at the full field rundown from here at North Wilkesboro this afternoon in the First Union 400, where Dale Earnhardt pulled off the victory.
Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin, Rusty Wallace, Steve Grissom, all those cars on the lead lap.
And Ted Musgrave finishing 6th. Sterling Marlin 7th, Rick Mast 8th, and Brett Bodine 9th, and Darrell Waltrip getting himself a top 10.
You know, it's the first time that Earnhardt's won this year, guys, but really and truly, he has been very competitive each and every race. And at Bristol last week, might have had the best car.
Very consistent all during the year, and that except for last weekend, and that's what's kept him at and on top of the point standings. Again, he has a 56-point advantage on Sterling Marlin at the conclusion of this race. We can continue to show you the rest of the rundown here in our race today. Greg Sachs, one of those who went into the hospital. Mike Wallace finishes in 36th position. Here's Dr. Punch.
We're at the Infield Care Center. We might mention 3 drivers are behind me in the Care Center. Now, we'll give you some updates here. Greg Sachs, Jeff Hammond, his crew chief, just leaving. We are told that Sachs is okay. He was overcome by fumes and heat. He says to tell Vicky, his wife, at home, he is okay. He'll be home tonight. Everything is fine. Kyle Petty was taken in by stretcher with 1 lap to go. I'm with Barry Dodson. And, Barry, how is Kyle?
He's pretty weak right now. He pretty much passed out in the car, and I tried to get him out. And then once we got to where we couldn't lose any more places on the racetrack, I made him come in and park it and get out. And he feels bad, you know. I talked to him a little bit. He's weak. He said he's shivering. He feels bad for us. And I told him that's not important. You know, we had a car that could win the race here 2 weeks in a row. And that's not important. I mean, that's just a car, and that's just another race. And we're talking about people here, and we're concerned about him. We want him to get back healthy. He did a heck of a job. He drove to 3rd under the green. We felt like I say, we had a car that could win again, and that doesn't matter. We'll get over that. As long as they keep having these races, we're going to be fine, and that's the same car we'll take to Martinsville.
Kyle Pettit getting some fluids behind me. I also need to mention that after the race, Jeff Burton was taken in behind me. He was overcome with fumes and carbon monoxide. He is getting some oxygen behind me inside. Will be released very, very shortly. We are told that all 3 drivers, as we see Ward Burton coming out, going in to check on his brother, all 3 drivers there appear to be okay, Bob.
Hot day in North Wilkesboro has put some drivers in the medical care center. The quest for the Cup standings, once again, the top 10. Jeff Gordon has moved to 3rd. Mark Martin back to 4th. Terry Labonte stays the same. Rusty Wallace moves up 3 to 6th place. Ted Musgrave up 1. Jarrett down 1. Grissom up 4. And Cope down 4. There are your top 10 as we head into the final short track race of the first half of the season. That will be at Martinsville, Virginia, the Haynes 500, 2 weeks from today at 3 o'clock Eastern Time, Sunday, April 23rd. Jeff Gordon and other members of the Hendricks Racing team will be up on Shop Talk coming up next here on ESPN. My thanks to Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, John Kernan, and Dr. Jerry Punch. And we thank you for joining us here at North Wilkesboro, where the first Union 400 has been won by Dale Earnhardt. Have a happy Thanksgiving, a happy Easter. A week from today, we will see you in 2 weeks at Martinsville. For now, this is Bob Jenkins. So long, everyone.